What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Back to the podcast where we think we know everything, but honestly, we don't know ish. And the reason I say that is because I was asked the other day, why you always say that you don't know And I said, because everything is speculation. Everything is an intelligent guess. Because really, the only people who know are the actual people who are living it, making the decisions, and playing the game. So we really don't know anything, but we make intelligent guesses. And today, we have one of the brightest, most well-respected guessers ever in Chicago. One of the most well-respected. Yes, I will say that again. I want you to hear me. So we are going to have a great show. We're going to get a little bit into what he's doing. We're also going to talk about our terrible Chicago sports teams. I know I say terrible because, well, they are. I mean, you look at the Bulls, look at the Sox. Cubs are, they're okay right now. The Bears might be okay next season, but we'll see. But yeah, so we're going to talk about our terrible Chicago teams, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, Commish, you know what to do.
You are now rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast, where they think they know everything, but honestly, they don't know shit.
These summer league games and they tell you about these new up and coming coaches.
I think we should get rid of every motherfucking owner in Chicago.
Enzo and Caruso, both when they are on the court, are like your defensive generals.
But they need to get that strong safety who's not scared to hit somebody.
They really don't know shit.
And we are back. You know, I love that part when Rick says, but they really don't know shit. I just always get a kick out of that every time I hear it. But anyway, so today, like I was saying, our guest is one of the most, and I'm going to say it again, one of the most well-respected voices in sports media, especially in Chicago. And we only have maybe a few minutes with him, so we can ask him all the questions in the chat that you might have. I know JB and Chris and Ace, they're going to have a lot of questions too. So let me go ahead and introduce them. My man, the stat man, who knows every single stat from every single team, 80s and 90s, basketball and football. My man, JB.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, JB?
You already know. I'm excited to get one of my idols.
But your idols
in the studio, you know, makes it definitely worth me doing it. You know, and he always comes correct. Always.
About everything.
If it hurt your feelings too damn bad.
Not even just sports though.
Hey, come on now.
Not even just sports, man.
Come on now. We with it.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait. Our second all-star probably has the foulest mouth in the city. But he's been a little tame lately because he just got married. Clap. Just got married and just had a little dude. Ricky!
Rick.
What's up, foul mouth?
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing, fellas?
Good.
That's good. Yeah, I'm very excited about tonight. I have a great host on. One of the guys I actually do listen to. You know, there's a lot of sports people up here that think they know a lot about sports, but this is one of the guys that I definitely listen to. We do have similar views on things, and I can't wait to ask him plenty of questions, see what insights that he have about our beloved Chicago sports teams.
We got my man Special Ace in the house from Korea, serving to protect all of us who are scared to go fight.
I ain't going over that.
My man Ace.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? Yeah, I'm actually in town for my son. He just graduated high school yesterday, so I came down for the week, and I figured the guys actually wanted to come out this weekend. I was like, of course, finally get to meet some people in person versus over virtually or whatnot. And then, Lord and behold, again, we get to hang out in studio with Laurence or whatever. Like you said, it's like he come correct. That's all. I'll leave the rest for when he gets home. Go ahead and get on the mic.
So everybody in the chat, you know him. You have to know. If you don't know him, climb up from under that rock. He is the sports guru in Chicago.
Y'all are doing too much.
We just telling you what we see, bro.
Exactly.
What we see and what we hear.
We just keeping it real like you. Laurence Holmes.
All right, that was amazing. Thank you guys. Appreciate the intro.
Pleasure, brother.
Same.
Definitely a pleasure to have you, man. Definitely a pleasure to have you. You got the podcast. You got 670 The Score.
Yep.
You got DePaul.
Yeah.
What don't you do?
Rest. Rest is what I don't do. No, wait. How am I supposed to do with the microphone? Because oh my God, I'm comfortable with it being like this.
Make yourself known.
I want to make sure that you guys can hear me, and I don't want to mess anything up.
No, you're fine.
However you want.
Okay.
However you want.
All right. That makes me feel better. Okay.
So you said you don't get to rest.
No.
Okay. So what else is it that you don't get to do? Because you do everything else.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's kind of one of the things where I'm at right now, career-wise. I'm kind of tethered to the studio now because I do a show every day. But I grew up in the game reporting. So I really like being out in the field. There's so much stuff, doing the show is cool. Don't get me wrong. I love doing the show. I love having a talk show, and having a show on The Score is amazing. But I've noticed over the last few years, on those nights where I do get an opportunity to kind of get out, that's where the breakthroughs are coming. Seeing people, talking to people. What's the rules on language here?
Open.
Okay. I just want to be sure.
It's like barbershop.
Okay.
No FCC regulations here.
It's one of my things that I always talk about is that if you do the job that I do, then you have to show your face. You can't throw a stone and hide your hand. So if I'm out here talking about people, I need to give them the right to MF me.
Okay.
And that's happened plenty of times. Some of my best relationships, honestly, in this business have come from moments like that, where it's maybe I got something right or maybe I got something wrong. And that person gets at me, I give my point of view, they give their point of view, and usually you can find middle ground. But I just think that part is so valuable, getting out, talking to people, being in the spaces, trying to read the room. What was someone's body language when they answered that question? What were they thinking about? What was it that what were they perturbed when someone said something? All of that stuff is valuable to me. How people interact. What's the locker room like? Who's sitting with whom? Who's talking to whom? Whose locker is on the other side of their position group? That sort of thing to me is fascinating. And I don't get that enough as just a talk show host. So that's probably like the next frontier is to get back outside in the industry. I love that. Like press conferences, like that was my bread and butter when I was a Bears reporter. Like I love being in the room. I love the energy of that. And being in those spaces to me is paramount. Like it's a big deal.
Oh, wow. So let me ask you this, getting off of being in the locker room, but what is the difference for you between podcasting and being on the radio?
Well, the rules and regulations of a radio show,
right?
Broadcasting versus narrowcasting, right? That to me is the difference there. And the thing is that it's not that I'm completely different on House of L, which is the name of my podcast. But there are definitely some 4 and occasionally 12-letter words that come out on the podcast that will have my station's license revoked if I were to say them, on the air.
Yeah.
And you have to understand too, like if you're coming to House of L, then you are coming for my thoughts. Like you're not coming for, and I try to do a lot of fact-based opinion. Sometimes I need to vent. Honestly, like my podcast is lately served as a psychologist for me, like for example, I'm gonna turn 50 at the end of the week. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And so I've been working through some of that stuff of like you look up and you're like, wow, like I've lived this life, like I've been here and I've lived this life, and I've quite honestly have been going through a bit of a midlife crisis. I bought a sports car last week, and I'm happy about it too.
Treat yourself.
What you buy?
I don't want to say. I just look. I'm still me, and so that means that I'm very frugal and I'm fairly conservative when it comes to some of this stuff. It's a used car, but it's fun. And it's fast. And I drove it like 200 miles this weekend. Yeah, man. Like it was that fun. I was like, this is exactly like if I don't get anything else out of it, it was worth it for what this was. Like when I turned the engine on and heard it hum, and like, I have a decent car, like my regular car is nice and it's fast. But it's not like fast like this. So I've been working through that on whether or not it's okay to treat yourself.
It's exhilarating to you. So that alone is worth what you got going on.
It's so funny too, because like when I started to think about it, I was thinking a little bit smaller. I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna get this or this or this. And then I was like, if I'm gonna do that,
You might as well do that. Right.
So at the end of it, like even the thrill of looking stuff up on car gurus and you know what I mean? Like at CarMax, be like, ooh, I could get that or get that. I almost bought a car because of the interior.
Valid.
So look, I did not buy this car, but I went to go look at it. There was a 2016 BMW 430i. All right, V6, 340 horsepower. It was silver, which wasn't the color that I was looking for. It had this crazy red and black interior. It's the most interesting interior that I've ever seen on a car. And I was like, I might buy this just because of the interior.
Yes.
And I'm like, I actually dig the fact that I'm allowing myself to live in the space of this is just fun, and why not do something that's kind of fun? So the podcast for me, to bring it back to what you actually asked, the podcast for me sometimes acts as therapy, and it's good to talk through and walk through some of this stuff. And what's crazy is that I ended up talking to a bunch of men around our age about this and whether or not they were having similar feelings about where they were in their career, where they were, like, did they want to travel? Were they having like similar feelings of wanderlust at the same time. And it was amazing how many of them had stories of, yeah, you know, there are days when I feel like I just want to move to Montana. You know, what's the old Kanye line? Like, I'm gonna move to Oklahoma with my aunt's house. Like there's some of that in it too, where you just go, I've lived my whole life in Chicago. I've traveled a lot, but I've lived here and I love here. And this will always be like home base. But a few years ago, I went to Montreal. And let me tell you something. I tell my students, in a couple of years, if you can't find me, that's what if you're like, I just see Professor Holmes in a couple of quarters here at DePaul. I'm somewhere in old Montreal, sipping tea, hanging out. That's what I'm doing.
He's got two students in Montreal.
The city of Montreal, the province of Quebec, the country of Canada have not paid me for this. This is not. But let me tell you, if you have not been to Montreal, and straight up, like as a Black person, if you haven't been to Montreal, you need to go. My parents had told me about it. They went on a trip like 25 years ago. And they were like, you should go. You need to go. And, you know, the life gets in the way of a lot of things, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember during COVID having that conversation with my parents. And they were like, don't you wish you would have gone to Montreal? Now that everything is like locked all the way down. So when Canada opened back up, it was the first thing I did. I went. And I'm telling you, for Black folks that are looking for a place where you feel safe and seen, Montreal is it. They still like revere Jackie Robinson there.
Okay.
Wow. There's a mural of Jackie Robinson in Montreal. Ain't nobody tagged it. No one's desecrated it. And it's been there for years. Old people in Montreal still talk about Jackie Robinson as if he is still here. And wow. I don't speak enough French. You know, my dad, he's amazing. Like he actually speaks Latin. So he's walking around there knowing everything that's going on. I'm using Spanish to try to figure out French because they're kind of connected. Right. And
romance language.
Right, you got it. Right. I'm using the romance languages to try and figure out what's going on in that place. And I got to tell you, man, I didn't feel like I ever got looked at sideways. I didn't feel uncomfortable no matter where I went or the fact that I couldn't speak the language. Yeah. I never felt uncomfortable. So I tell everyone to go to Montreal because it's amazing, like the food, the music, the people, but Black people in particular. Like if you're looking for a place where, like I got off the plane and I was like, this shit feels like home. And out of all the places that I've been, I've never had that experience of just like, ooh, you know, I'll tell you this. I know we're not like talking about sports, but so I always check on the weather app, you know, and you look around, right? Mm-hmm. And you're looking to see kind of what the air quality is. Mm-hmm. So today in the air quality in Chicago is 61, right? That's moderate, right? Like we fine, right? Yeah. And I keep Montreal on here. Montreal, air quality, 3.
Manitoba, mad different.
All them trees.
You know what it is?
Wow. You say that, and that's where in Korea it's 33 because I have to keep track of where it's at. That's because of yellow dust from China. That's a whole different ballgame. But
oh, I know. Yeah, man. So
it'd be like 100 something.
I love that. I love the idea of traveling. And like sports gave me that. Like I didn't really travel. I don't think I took a plane until I was 21. You know, when I was a kid, we would drive everywhere, right?
Yeah, true.
You know, my mom's family is from Mississippi. My dad's family is from Tennessee. We would drive. Like we wanted to go to DC, we drove. Like, oh, it's 11 hours. We're doing a road trip. We want to go to Florida. We get in the car and we drive.
Make sandwiches.
You know, the cooler, right?
Yeah,
the cooler in the back.
Whatever juices.
Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
Not helmets. Miracle Whip.
Yeah. You know, whatever it is that you got going on, like that's what my parents, like we did. And once I started traveling, it really changed my life. And being able to cover the Bears for 10 years and travel and go to the places that they went, go see these other cities, go see other stadiums, it was life-changing. And now I can't imagine. Like now, I just book sports trips now.
Yes.
You know, like I just go, oh, I haven't seen that, or I haven't been a part of that. What's that like? Like, what's it like to go to an SEC football game? And so I went. And you're like, yo, this is very different from a Big Ten football experience, because that's all I really had to draw from. Like I used to, when I'm old enough that I remember when Northwestern was good the first time, like back in the 90s.
And the second time.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
98 Rose Bowl team.
Pat Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Me and Fitz go back even more. Me and Fitz actually go back to high school, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, being able to see the world through sports is one of the best things about this gig, is seeing what it's like. Where it used to be, it's not this way anymore. It used to be that if you covered the Bears, they would put you in the same hotel as the team. Now they don't do that anymore, at least not to my knowledge. But they didn't pay for you. You had to pay for it, but they would block the rooms for reporters who were covering the team on a daily basis. And seeing what that's like, seeing what happens when a team comes to town and how people react to it is wild. Going to Tampa and watching the people who just happen to show up because an NFL football team is in town. It's an amazing, amazing thing. Traveling with a basketball team, seeing how people are treated, like it's fascinating stuff, man. Absolutely fascinating.
So I want to ask you this before we get deep, because I know people want to dig into this sports stuff. But El, what got you into sports journalism and just the whole nine to where you are now? I mean, there had to be a starting point, a launching point, right?
Yeah, I mean, the starting point is being a failed athlete to a certain degree. So I grew up in Roseland. Okay, I went to a very small school in Roseland called St. Thaddeus. It doesn't even exist anymore. The church still kind of exists of St. Margaret of Scotland over on 99th Street.
Yeah, right down the street.
So I grew up there. I played Jackie Robinson West. We won a state title. Actually, it's the 40th anniversary of us winning that state title. I still have the trophy. It's one of my most favorite things. So 7th and 8th grade, we had like a early involvement program. So I did my first 2 years of high school while I was in 7th and 8th grade. Nice. I took English classes and a couple other things at Harlan High School. So we would walk, which was a real experience, walking to Harlan up 95th Street in your Catholic school uniform and taking classes.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Right? We had to fight them Gillespie kids all the time.
But you had credit because technically you from the Hunters, so you had credit.
Yeah, but still, you still walking around in your Catholic school, and you're a little younger than the people that you're in school with. But so I grew up out of Jackie Robinson West, and we moved out south. We moved to Homewood. I went to HF, and I thought I was gonna be the man. You know, like I'm a city kid. You know, these kids ain't got nothing for me. I got out there freshman year and tore my ankle to shreds playing basketball. I had what's called a triple arthrodesis, so 3 bones fused into one. So my left foot can do everything, right? It can do like this, do like that. My right foot can only do like this. It can just go up and down. So that took me away from basketball a little bit. Like I'm still a little gun shy about playing basketball. Also, I don't see any point in a 50-year-old man who's not playing for anything, playing basketball anymore. But when I got hurt, I don't know if I would call it a depression. I think my parents were really worried about it because they knew how important sports were to me. And my mother had said the whole reason that they had moved us out there is because they wanted opportunities for me that maybe we couldn't have. Now, both of my parents are CPS teachers, so they knew very well what the choices were. And considering where we live, there were 2 choices. There were 3 choices. One, I could go to Fenger.
I was going to say, Whistler would have been your elementary school, Fenger would have been your high school.
So I could have gone to Fenger. 2, we could have lied, and I could have gone to Morgan Park. All right? But for 2 CPS teachers, that's a real bad look if you get caught, right?
Right.
3, we could have gone to a Catholic school. Now, what sucked is my brother went to Mendel,
Okay.
and Mendel closed the year before I graduated.
Mendel was cold.
Mendel was real. Man, you know what's crazy? I think about that and like some of those spaces that I was in. My brother's 5 years older than me. Some people will actually know who he is. My brother's name is Braxton Holmes. So he is a house music legend. If you go look up his stuff, like he's one of the people that worked with Casual and Dajé. They used to come to the house, like straight up. They used to make music in my parents' basement. Like you go to the door and Dajé is standing right there. So he used to take me to those parties. And now, like thinking about it, I was carrying his milk crates of records when I was 12, 13 years old, going to Mendel parties back in the day. And Mendel in the 80s was the shit.
What an experience that must have been.
Like those were the
goodness.
parties that you wanted to go to back in the day. So being at HF, they had everything. And I didn't even know, but my mother knew because she had done all the research. And she said, they have a radio station. Why don't you talk about sports until you can play them again? And I was like, oh, light clicks on. And I try out to be a newsreader. And one of my best friends is Ben Bradley, who works at Channel 9. Ben's one of the best people that I know. Like we've been friends now for 35 years or whatever. And I remember he calls bullshit on this, but it's the truth. He gave me like the tryout. Like, here, read this. And I noticed, and this is how old we are. I noticed that he spelled Gorbachev wrong. Right?
Oh my God.
The Russian prime minister.
So I told him that, and he was like, "You're hired." Because if you know that, then you can come and read news. And that's kind of where it all started. So as I got healthier and started playing more, it was great. But I had this experience of doing a talk show once a week. I used to do a DJ shift once a week, which was a lot of fun. And that started it. So by the time I was 16, I had my FCC license as an operator, because that's one of the things they make you do at HF. Like it's a real talk. There are a lot of colleges, and trust me, I am a professor at one. There are a lot of colleges who are not even close to what HF is doing in high school.
Wow.
And let me run the list for you, okay? I gave you Ben Bradley from Channel 9, right? Chuck Garfien from Chicago Sports Network. Jason Benetti, who does play-by-play for the Detroit Tigers right now. Yes, who used to be with the Sox, which is really stupid.
Yeah.
He's not with the Sox anymore.
They let him go. Like,
Right?
That was a whole controversy.
It's really ridiculous. Amanda Kashubi, who's the sports editor of the Chicago Tribune. Like, we out here, Sade Gray, who works for Channel 2, all of us came from this same program at HF. Like, these are people that are working in Chicago and nationally, and we all came out of the same program. It's amazing. It's light years ahead of some of the curriculum that I see even at the university level. And so that's where I got my start. And it was, if it weren't for my mom, like really caring about her son's mental well-being, who knows what could have happened. But I kind of found my tribe in that and was able to turn it into an internship when I was at DePaul. That internship turns into me becoming a part-time producer at The Score and at Channel 9. I was working 7 days a week. And that's how you started off. Like, you get the overnight shift, and then you move up to the nighttime show, or you move to afternoon drive. That's where it all kind of came about. And I'm thankful to my parents, like, every day for what they sacrificed, how hard they worked, and for them being like, no, there are other ways that you can use all that energy and throw it into the thing that you love.
Wow. So that answers my question. I was going to ask you, at what point did you know, like, yeah, this is it. This is what I want to do. It was at HF. It's
a good question that you're going to ask, because it wasn't at HF. When I was in college, there were 3 different roads that I was thinking about going down. I was a Golden Apple Scholar. So one of the roads I was thinking about going down was teaching.
Because we won the award. Yeah.
Right? And they were paying for a big chunk of my schooling. So I thought about that. I wanted to teach history. My undergraduate degree is in history. And I care deeply about American history and African history. And those are the 2 things that I studied at DePaul. The other one was to go to the Navy and join the Judge Advocate General. So I had taken the LSAT. The Navy was interested in paying for me to go to law school if I was going to serve after I finished law school. And then there was radio. And so I was stuck, like all the way down to the end of senior year. I was stuck on which direction I was going to go into. But the internship at Channel 9 really opened the door. It's 1997. My first job, they had us field producing. So you go out and you're just the guy with the microphone. You're not really supposed to do nothing, but get the microphone. You got a camera person with you. They're going to help you.
Hold it.
Yeah, and then you get the sound. My first assignment, Bulls 5th championship.
Oh, wow. Come on now. Dang, that was your first assignment?
Berto Center. And the way it worked out is because of the Bulls were having their rally, okay? So the report, I worked for Dan Roan and Rich King, who are just amazing. Krista Ruck was my EP when I was there. So the rally was downtown, right? But someone had to cover the guys at Berto before they left for downtown. So all of the big dogs are downtown. So they send the flunkies up to the Berto Center. But my first gig, like my first put a microphone in someone's face is putting a microphone in front of Michael Jordan.
You won that. Hey, forget the party. I'm
Right here.
Y'all gonna
Big
see
dog.
that, not really talk to him. Like,
And I'm terrified.
how you feel, Mike?
I'm terrified, man. And then that summer, maybe it was 98, but I think it was 97. That summer was amazing because I had the Bull stuff. Then Tiger Woods came and played I think it was the BMW Championship. It was either 97 or 98. And I covered that.
Nice.
And so I'm in a room, and it's me and Tiger. We the only black people there. And I asked Tiger a question, and he answered it. And it's like, this has been the best summer of my life.
I played when I lived in South Collins. I played with Tiger, and I didn't even know. I didn't know his name. I just played with this guy, Richie Gray. He was my best friend, and he brought somebody to play. And I was like, okay, let's play. So we played, I think, wiffle ball. And we were playing with Tiger Woods. I had no idea. No idea.
That's amazing.
No idea it was Tiger Woods.
That's really amazing.
Yeah. So that's my story. That's my story. But yeah, man. So let's get into some sports. I know everybody is dying
Chomping at the bit. Yeah.
And Laurence has the best takes. I
Don't do that. Like
at least in my opinion. Let me rephrase it. In my opinion.
No. It's gonna be in more opinion because I'm gonna be honest to you. Only reason I listen to the score and put it on is when your show comes on. That's it.
I appreciate that.
And that's real truth, brother.
I appreciate it. I'll just say, like, no matter what you like at the score, there's a flavor for you.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever you like, you can find it there.
Yep.
And what I try to do is I want to bring reason to some of the arguments. I'm big on things need to make sense. And that's very much how I'm my father's child. Stuff needs to fit. You know, I need the Tetris to work out and do all that stuff. But I want to approach it from the standpoint of, I know a little bit about sports. I don't know everything. I talk to people who know a lot, and then I can form my own opinion about it and hopefully share the most rational. And I get it. There are days when people don't want to be rational, and I'm here for it. Mondays after Bears games.
After
That
Bears
would be me.
lost,
Hey, that would be me.
Hey,
after Bears
listen.
lost, a lot of people
That
are.
would be
Listen,
me.
we know what it is, and on Mondays it's pretty much like we throw out the phone number and talk to the people about it because we know that people have like those feelings that need to get out. And then we'll get into like, here's what I saw, here's what the experts are saying. This is what they're saying in the locker room. Like that stuff matters to me. And over my career, I've had the opportunity to work with a bunch of, there's some people that I cover that are now colleagues. And that's a really interesting dynamic. Like covering Olin Kreutz and now being able to text him and be like, hey, this is what I saw. Am I right? And he'll be like, no. And let me tell you why you're wrong. Being able to watch games with those guys. When I was at NBC, I hosted a show called The Football After Show. It's one of the best things that ever happened in my life.
Yep.
It's great. Me, Olin, Alex Brown, Matt Forte, Lance Briggs. Like we used to get it in. We used to have so much fun on that show. But being able to watch games with them, you realize how much stuff you don't know. So I would consider myself an educated layman. Okay. I didn't play in the NFL, but I covered it for a long time. I probably know more than the average fan. Okay. When I watch games with those guys.
But see, that means more to us because now your opinions are more mired in facts based upon who you're surrounded by.
It's like going to grad school when you watch games with those type of people. And here's what I mean. If you show me something that happened in a Bears game, I can probably in real time tell you, hey, that wasn't right. I need to see a replay on why it wasn't right. And then I can tell you, okay, the 3 technique was lined up in the wrong spot. These dudes, pre-snap. Olin can tell me a run play isn't going to work. Pre-snap. And I'm seeing it all play out. And I'm like, what? Like, how? And he's like, okay, well, the guard's finger pressure wasn't right for the play that they were going to run. And I'm like, what? Like,
His knuckles didn't go away.
what? Like, and so I'm just sitting there with these guys, like taking in like all of this information, and I'm writing stuff down because that's what I do. And they're just like off the top of the dome. This play isn't going to work, or this play is going to be a touchdown. And you learn like some of it is basic, but if you don't have the experience, you don't know it. Do you guys remember a few years ago? And I know this is, I'm asking you guys to remember a nondescript game. The Bears had a game in Miami, and they lost in overtime, okay? And everything was going really well for them early on in the game, and then it kind of went downhill. Before the game, Matt Forte said to me, he's like, the Bears are going to lose today. And I said, well, why? He said, well, check this out. When you play Miami in Miami this time of year,
I'll say the weather.
the Sun Field is the away team.
Yep. So when the sun comes over, it beans on that.
being on the sideline.
Yeah.
And he said, I can tell by looking at the sidelines pregame that the Bears didn't bring anything to cover them up. So we get to the fourth quarter.
And there you go.
They're gassed. And so now they got guys just picking up tables and like covering the guys from the Sun. And he looked at me and he was like, see, I told you. And then it fell apart and they lost the game. And I was just like, we knew this shit 3 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
We knew exactly, and it played out exactly the way that he said it. I'll never forget that. The Parkey game. Forte told me, he was like, here's what's going to happen. The double doink.
He's still there.
Hey, I know. There are two things that you can't talk to Bears fans post the Super Bowl team in 07. There are two things you can't talk about. One, the Parkey game. Two, the game they lost Aaron Rodgers, where Julius Peppers almost had him, and Chris Conte is just standing there as Randall Cobb goes running by. Have y'all ever seen the Tecmo version of that?
Oh my God.
Look it up. The Tecmo version of that is amazing because they had it play out exactly the same way, where Peppers almost gets to Rodgers. And then they show Conte, and it looks like the game glitches. And he's just standing there. And Randall Cobb runs by him, and they catch the touchdown, and that's it. Look it up. It is it's painful, but it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
The one time he wasn't off the screen.
Correct.
Normally, Chris Conte was like, is it only 10 people? No, Conte's there. He's just off.
He's over there. He's 30 yards deep.
Yeah.
Not that time he wasn't. And it cost him.
Oh, wow.
He never did shit.
Man, we had a lot of trauma in this city. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna have a lot of trauma. So let's talk about the schedule.
Okay. Bear schedule?
Yeah, Bear schedule.
Okay.
Can we pull it up, Kurt, for our viewers?
So I'm pretty sure you guys probably gonna have done it on the score. Gonna have done a little pre-schedule record.
Too early predictions.
Early predictions, yeah.
Okay, so look, I hate doing this. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I hate doing it, but let me explain to you why. Because people get mad when I don't explain why I hate it. Because of my background, and because I've covered the league, the roster isn't set.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not set.
It's not.
I don't know where Aaron Rodgers is playing this year.
If he's playing.
It could be Pittsburgh, but it could also be Minnesota.
Or it could also be nowhere.
It could also be nowhere.
It's
So-
so weird if it's Minnesota. I'm just saying.
With him finishing the far part,
Yeah.
the far
That would
story arc.
just- that would be.
A guy that he didn't like.
Oh,
that would
man.
be- That's another show.
And that's another. But I will say that I think that they're. If you're just looking at it on what teams did last season, and teams change, free agency hits, guys get fat and happy, guys win, and they're like, oh, whatever. Guys get paid and whatever. I think their schedule is really tough.
For sure.
I think it's really tough, but I also think they're better. I think that they made a lot of moves this offseason that are going to make them better. The Ben Johnson hire, to me, is exactly what the organization needed. They needed someone who actually knows football. I can't tell you that it's going to work, that he's going to be a great head coach, because there's a big difference.
And that's what I was saying. He still has to learn how to be a head coach.
100%.
He can know the game,
100%.
but he may not be like Phil Jackson. They're going to mastermind all these egos and mesh them together and this, that, and the third. He's got a bigger job than just calling plays.
There's a big difference between making suggestions and making decisions.
There you go.
Yeah, I think you talked about this. I don't know if it was the one where you were talking about polls or the one you were talking about Caleb about putting the team together on the House of L. And one of them you were talking about like, hey, like I like the hire. I think Ben Johnson's going to be, hopefully be a good coach. Whether he is or not, it's a whole different story. So
it's difficult. Like that jump, you're managing a lot. You're spinning a lot of plates, and to then also be the play caller, which to me is crazy, but I get it. If I'm the Bears, I want Ben Johnson to call plays.
You kind of have to. He's doing double duty. Like his OC on paper is just on paper.
You nailed it.
He's not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Go get my coffee.
Declan Doyle is there to make Ben Johnson's life easier during the week.
And to learn.
And I think eventually he'll be up out of here and be someone else's offensive
He's got a
coordinator.
good pedigree. The Sean Payton tree tight ends. I won't say he's just a guy, but we know this is Ben Johnson's show top to bottom. Top to bottom, this is his show. He can definitely, take the advice of a Dennis Allen, who was a former head coach, not successful. So some people are like, well, do I really want him listening to? Sure enough, but he's been there.
You do.
So you want to lean on him because you want to lean on him because he's been there.
Yeah.
Whether he was failed or not, you want to lean on him.
There are not a lot of people who have had that job. So anyone that can give you advice on what it's like. Like, what's it like to deal with players? What's it like when I have to deal with a receiver who really wants the ball? And
what's it like when you get blamed for everything?
Yeah, that's important.
Can you bounce back?
Yeah.
And
how thick is your skin?
More importantly, what I really like is the simple fact, like we were stating, the coaches that he brought over. You know, you got championship coaches here. Dennis Allen's going to win the Super Bowl. Eric Bieniemy's going to win the Super Bowl. Randall Evans won the Super Bowl. I don't know if Al Harris. No, I don't think he's won.
That Green Bay one, I want to say he's been to the Super Bowl.
He may have been there.
He was a player. As a player,
like as far as me, you know, being a Chicago Bears fan, this is probably the best coaching staff that I've seen any Chicago Bears coach actually have coming in because of the experience and the things that they've gone and done. Dennis Allen has been a very good defensive head coach. Defensive coordinator. Now he's probably sucked as a head coach, but as a defensive coordinator, he's been very good. We see how Randall is. Shout out to my Thornton Wildcat alumni. Hopefully you'll have him on the show soon.
Oh, so you was back here seething when I was talking about HF, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'll let you have your little fun talking about the Vikings.
I'm pretty sure, and I gotta check with my mom, but I'm pretty sure that Antoine and Curtis are my cousins.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
That's what's up.
That's cool.
I think we're like second or third cousins.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very weird, but I'm pretty sure we are.
That's
I
Sounds
think
Hey,
it's
you know.
in high school.
Right.
So.
Where'd you go?
I went to Lane Tech, so.
Oh my God. I was just thinking about Lane Tech, man. When I got to DePaul, so my whole life has been out south, right? Like it's Roseland and it's Homewood. When I got to DePaul, the thing that messed me up is seeing the numbers go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first week I was at DePaul, I was like, wait, the numbers are supposed to get bigger going this way. Why are the numbers getting bigger going this way? And the thing that I thought of, because I still have a bunch of friends from like that first summer, man, y'all must have had a ball at Lane Tech. Because when I walked onto DePaul's campus, literally every woman that I met from Lane Tech was a 10. And I'm like, y'all got them in every variety over here at Lane Tech. I'm like, what is this? How did this happen?
Jay Green's chiming in. Lane Tech. Shout out to Mr. Subs. So another Lane Tech alum.
Possible free right here.
Yeah.
Our guy, Gabe Ramirez went to
Gabe was
Lane
Lane.
Tech. Yeah, he was Lane.
Gabe's my dude, man.
B96. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Gabe broke news today about the Chicago Fire.
Yeah,
Oh,
we wanted
the
to-
stadium.
yeah, we want to
Yeah.
talk about
Ooh,
that.
we gonna get to that. Should we get into it now?
Let's get to some other stuff.
All right.
Because I want this hard. It's time for me to be me.
Okay.
Caleb Williams.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Here we go.
Great topic.
I'm
Great
gonna
topic.
be the cynic because I always am.
We might as well-
Always on
This is going to
best
be barbershop talk.
It's
Get
gotta
ready
be.
to beat.
It's gotta be barbershop time.
Ding, ding.
I'm a Bears fan, trying true.
Okay.
Love my Bears. Was able, as a young man, at 7 years old, was able to go when they used to do Super Bowl and do the Bears versus media with Margie Greco and the boys. I was one of the ones that Richard Dent picked up. Thank you. Shout out to my mom and my auntie. So I've been immersed in just Bears culture. My grandfather had Bears season tickets. My question is, haven't we suffered enough? And now that we got the guy, we got the chosen one on paper, little LeBron James-esque early on, right? But I'm not confident because I see the flaws that other people saw going on. But you kind of, it's a catch-22 because if you're the Bears, you have to draft him.
There's no doubt. No.
And I'm a Justin Fields fan.
Unless
unless you knew your job was secure.
So look, I have dubbed this the Justin Wars. We went through this. I'm sure you guys went through it on the podcast. We went through it on the score. The idea of
I got it from you.
should they have Caleb or should they have Justin in the picks? Now, my vote was for Justin in the picks.
Didn't
Yes,
Didn't we?
yes, we all-
Didn't we?
Yep.
We all said the same thing.
So
Marvin, Joe Alt, like, come on.
there would have been an opportunity
Who's
for them to really upgrade. But I've come around on Caleb. Now, and part of the problem is that during the pre-draft process, there were a lot of people that would jump into my mentions, my DMs, like people that I knew from the football world that said a lot of sideways shit about Caleb. And it was so sideways that I'm like, wait a minute. Like my spidey senses are tingling. Something's not right with all of the people that don't like him. So I talked to more people. I looked at more tape. The conclusion that I came to, and I said it, and I got a lot of hate for it at the time, and now I'm getting a lot of backpats for it. I said, I think Caleb's really good. I don't think the gap between him and Jaden Daniels is as vast as everyone thinks it is. So most people had it like this, it's Caleb Williams, and then Jaden Daniels is clearly the number 2. And then, Drake May. I was like this. I think it's close.
We had it reversed. We had Jaden as the more pro-ready quarterback. Not the better talent.
Not we.
Not we.
Talent.
You. No.
Don't get that twisted, bro.
Watch this. Me, Tank, and Foul. That's 3 against 2. We'll say the majority of us.
That's fine. Just don't put me in that situation.
Only because
I'm not in that.
You saw the backyard football. We saw Cliff Kingsbury pulling his hair out on the sideline sometimes, but like, you know what? Damn, he made the play.
Yeah.
But we saw Jaden run. Different coaching, different bag. That's no brainer as to why when you looked at what Jaden Daniels did, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either, but I do think that we have to keep in mind the Bears last year were an absolute shit show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On paper, we looked good. On paper.
Beginning of the season.
When
there's nobody here that thought that the Minnesota Vikings and Sam Darnold was going to do what they did. No. We were supposed to get one of them spots.
Yeah, but I think that what we found out, and it's one of the things that have been talked about over the last couple of weeks, Kevin O'Connell knows what he's doing.
He's a
guru. Right?
He's a guru.
And so I would understand why Caleb, looking before he gets drafted, is like, yeah, I want to play with
that guy. Yeah. Right. And people still be mad at that. Everybody
think about it. Kevin O'Connell has played the position, so he knows the intricacies of sitting up there being a quarterback. We agree that Jaden Daniels is very good. Now, I did not see Jaden Daniels doing that. I mean, Jaden Daniels, what he spent, 4-5 years in college?
5 years. 3 at Arizona State
and
2 at
LSU, right.
And I saw him personally at Arizona State as a freshman. I spent a lot of time in AZ.
Herm Edwards.
Yes, under Uncle Herm. And I remember being like, man, I always thought that guy, like his body was not going to allow him to play serious NFL football. Because when he walked onto the campus down there at Arizona State, he was 6'5" and 185 pounds.
Oh, and that's probably so wet.
That was
good.
And now
him and Lamar are the same, and they said the same thing about Lamar.
I think he's 205, maybe
208.
But the thing is, when I look at him, Lamar had put on some weight. I think he lost the weight because I think it made him a little bit more fluid, a little bit more faster. Jaden Daniels, to me, he has a body similar to a quarterback that I used to love, one of your favorites, Randall Cunningham.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
the long strides,
the
elongated,
loosey arm, So I didn't see him doing what he did, but I also know that their coaching was superior to ours.
100%.
Vastly superior.
Look back at so with Jaden Daniels, you watched them. What did they do? They slowly progressed Jaden Daniels throughout the season. Well, the first 5 weeks, he only threw like one half of the field, right? And then when you talk about the year before, what did they do with C.J. Stroud? They built the offense completely to C.J. Stroud's strength. That's what the Bears didn't do with Caleb this year.
Watching Washington starting out in the first few games, their pass game was horizontal.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They went side to side. They made it easy reads. And then they were like, okay, we're going to go horizontal. You're going to take 2 shots a game down the field. And then he started hitting them. Then it was like, oh, Oh, Terry McLaurin's wide open? Fuck. Me throw him the rock. And then they were like, okay, we can take more shots down the field.
And then they brought the intermediate game with the tight end in.
And he hit
And
him.
he flourished. 70% completion percentage.
Here's what I would say. And again, I'm the person that said that the two quarterbacks are like this. If we went Freaky Friday and we switched them last year, do we not think that Caleb would have put up crazy numbers?
Absolutely would have.
Let me say
I think
no,
Okay.
because it's something in Caleb that's prohibiting him to be coached. A la, why would the Bears get rid of Getsy, get Waldron, but not get Cliff Kingsbury, who just coached Caleb at USC?
That was an Eberflus being scared of freaking
Yeah.
That didn't have
Kingsbury.
look. I don't think that had nothing to do with Eberflus being in Kingsbury. I think it has something to do with Caleb. Like, I don't want that dude.
I don't think it's that.
Because otherwise, why wouldn't you? If you put up Heisman Trophy numbers with that guy, you wouldn't want that to be your guy in the NFL.
But then you're giving Caleb a lot more credit as a rookie quarterback with that much voice.
I
He
think
got
it's,
the key to the city that he was
closer to
drafted.
what you're saying. And the reason I say that is I think back to, because Cliff did an interview.
Yep.
And when he was asked about it, he didn't want to talk about it. And it makes it feel like, to me, like now we're looking at all this stuff kind of in retrospect. But it makes it feel like, to me, that he got a sham interview, that they knew who they were going to hire.
Thank you. He checked the box.
And they were like, well, we got to bring this because this is Caleb's guy. We got to bring Caleb's guy in. And they brought him in. And they were like, well, we're going to go with Waldron. Stacey Dales, she reported on our
I know
air.
Stacey did when she played with this guy.
She's
I
dope.
love her. Love Stacey.
Like,
Yeah.
Stacey Dales is dope.
Yeah.
She's such a good person, too. Like, she had the report. And I had never heard this before. And it jarred me so much that I started sending text messages and calling people. It was that the Bears didn't have what's called a first 15 scripted plays, that they didn't have it in their offense. And I'm like, I know I haven't been in the locker room for a while, but I've never heard of that.
10 to 15 is usually paramount on every team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
like just the norm normally.
So I just started calling people and texting people and saying, hey, this is what's going on with the Bears. Does this make sense to you? And it was, this has never happened to me before. 100% people coming back and saying, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
See?
I've never heard of that. Most teams do up to 25. Some teams have like a menu of plays to start with, and then they'll work through it as the game goes on. One person hit me up and was like, that can't be right. There's no way that that's right. And then I sent them what Stacey said, and this person was like, they're fucked.
But it's, to me, that's the typical, like, we shouldn't be surprised about this because if you've been a lifelong Bears fan, you know this is the shit that they do. Like, all right, so me, I'm a big advocate for Ryan Poles. I think Ryan Poles is a good GM because one thing that I tell people all the time, the GM's job is to acquire the talent. It's up to the coach to sit up there to coach it. The last 3 seasons, everybody's claimed the Bears are who? They're the off-season champions.
Yeah.
They're the off-season
That's the only championship they win.
Yeah, that's the only championship they win. They got banners up at Hollis Hall about that. So what makes you think that Ryan Poles, a guy that came in, that they selected as the GM, they said, hey, you got 3 coaches to choose. Choose between those 3 coaches. Not that you run your own coaching search, that you got those 3 coaches to choose from.
It wasn't so much the Bears as it was Trace Armstrong.
Remember, I told
Trace Armstrong, yeah.
So
thank you.
that and I think that the Bears are in a better space now because, and this is not anything I'm reporting, this is just how I read it. It seems to me that Kevin Warren was like, yo, that guy can't have power over our organization.
Thank you.
We've got to do something about that. And I think they have. I'm not a huge polls guy, but I'm willing to give him a mulligan on this. I would love to see, because there are things I feel like he got wrong. I'm still mad about the Roquan Smith stuff.
Come on with it. Come on with it.
Because that shit felt personal to me.
It did. For $20 million, and then you go get 18.9 for Tremaine Edmonds.
And people got real stupid during that. Where it's like, well, he's not he's not an on-the-ball linebacker. And I'm like, okay, he's 24, and he is all-pro level. And then he immediately goes to
He
Baltimore.
goes to Pro Bowl that same year.
The same-
and is an all-pro, not just a Pro
Not just
Bowler,
a- all-pro.
Yeah, but but the thing is this, that's what Baltimore does. Like, you're trying to compare a Baltimore franchise to a Chicago Bears franchise.
well, 'cause-
Like, even when they took Mike Green, when I saw Baltimore coming up, I said,
It made
that
sense,
is,
though.
that is the place that he's going to
Makes
go.
sense.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he flourishes over there in Baltimore, because that's
Well,
Baltimore
I mean,
even though the year before he had all pro stats and he got
snubbed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he got snubbed.
he got
Yeah,
snubbed.
it's something about them. They don't like Chicago. Like, I've never seen a player that gets, what is it? It's either made all pro but didn't make the Pro Bowl, or made the Pro Bowl
And then
make
get all pro.
Like, what does that happen?
But,
Here in Chicago.
but Mitch made it as an alternate.
that doesn't count.
At all. At all.
And we
And
need-
thank you for that.
And we
Because
need
I've
to
been
start
saying,
like really.
no participation
There's
trophies.
a difference
Asterisk.
between selection, Pro Bowl selection, and Pro Bowl alternate.
alternate. Thank you.
Oh man.
Because at some point it's just like we're out of quarterbacks because this guy's hurt, that guy's playing in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Right, so just throw his ass in.
Someone send Mitch Trubisky to the.
Well, they went 12 and 4. Go ahead, kid. It's your only one.
Go enjoy
ahead.
it. Go enjoy yourself at the Pro Bowl in Orlando.
Right. Not even Hawaii anymore. Go to Orlando.
Yeah, so that, I mean, and when we talk about Caleb, I think he will be better because, like I was telling people, to be a Bears fan is fucking heartbreaking.
Yes.
You think about it, the last 2 years, we have lost 13 games. 13 games by one score less.
4 of those by 3 or less, right?
I think so. Maybe more.
Now look, I'm gonna put y'all onto some game right here, because this is what happens with NFL teams. If you look over if you did like a study like over the last decade, guess what? 50% of the games are one-score games, all around the league.
True. Well,
So everyone, even the Tennessee Titans, are out there like, we lost 6 games by only 1 score. I mean, they also got their asses whooped in a bunch of other games.
true,
But just know the league is kind of designed for that, so that everyone feels like they have a chance and that they aren't that far away, and that's why the draft becomes such a big deal.
I'm
to a
cool with
lot of
that.
teams.
Yeah, but when you lose heartbreakers to a tip fucking field goal, a fucking Hail Mary, the
that's
time
not-
running out.
Wait, can we say the Hail Mary? Can we say the idiot that was waving to the press box?
Yeah, it was that was not a good look for Tyreek. But this is not that I'm big into hot takes, but this is, if I were, this would be my hot take. I think Tyreek Stevenson is going to have an amazing year this season. He
And
is
what spot?
at corner. He is perfect to play corner. And Kyler Gordon actually will probably end up playing a little bit of time at safety, strangely enough, at safety, depending on what Dennis Allen wants to do with his looks.
We asked about that because Dennis Allen doesn't run a lot of nickel. Traditionally, he does not run a lot of nickel.
But you got to have Kyler Gordon on the field.
Which is why I thought Tyreek would be off and
Yeah.
Kyler would be on with the 1-2 with Jalen Johnson.
But Tyreek is like, they drafted him, and at the time I was like, he's not really a cover 2 corner, which is what Eberflus was
He's
running.
a man press.
And this is perfect for Dennis Allen. I think Tyreek Stevenson is going to ball out this year.
I hope he does. That was one of the colleges I wanted to go to. I love him. I was Michigan State. But I was Miami.
Yes.
I just knew
Yes, he has to make up for that.
I mean,
He definitely has to make up.
Well, first of all, they put Washington again.
I was in the locker room in Arizona, so it's a couple weeks later. And
29-9.
dude, I'm sitting there watching this thing before halftime, and Arizona calls a give up like belly run play where they're just trying to get 5 yards to kick a field goal. 53 yards later, they score a touchdown. I go into the locker room.
Oh, James Conner, right.
No, it wasn't.
No, not Conner.
It was the backup running back.
It was back. Okay.
Yeah. And I go into the locker room and I'm like, oh, this team's cooked. And that's what I mean by being out there and seeing stuff. It matters. Being in that locker room, you could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in enough, having covering the Bears for 10 years, I've been in enough losing locker rooms to go, oh, that feeling that I had in 2014 and feeling that I had in 2013.
Yeah,
I know that. I know what this
I'm well-versed.
feels like. when it's all quiet and the stars of the team are running out of the locker room, and the guys that usually are okay talking don't want to talk because they know they're going to say something is going to get them or someone else in trouble.
Yeah.
And they're being surly with you, like, oh, this is what a losing team looks like. This is what it is. And then they follow that up. There's the Patriots game. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Like anyway, I won't go.
Wait.
I won't be living with y'all.
We didn't even score a touchdown that game, if I'm not mistaken.
They were out there, and that was a Tyreek Stevenson game too, where they had said it was so amazing, like in the post game. The Patriots guys had all said, yeah, we watched film and we noticed that on play action, he bites up quite a bit. He cheats with his eyes quite a bit. And if you look at the plays that scored for New England, they got Tyreek good.
Hey.
He's like, oh, play action? I'm going. And then the guys behind you.
Andre
it's a
Stevens
touchdown.
does not have the ball.
No, he doesn't have the ball.
Have the ball.
Nondescript tight end is scoring. Nondescript wide receiver just scored a touchdown because you weren't paying attention and reading your keys.
And that's why I've been telling people for the longest. I think, particularly in football, coaching is the most important. It has to be the most important because you have to sit up there and coach. We've gone and had some decent teams, but our coaching has been terrible. Even like when we had Matt Nagy, he came in that 1 year, with all those different gadget plays and everything.
Santa's sleigh.
Man, and it was working fine. Then all of a sudden, like I said, next year the league catches on, and then none of those plays are working.
No, you better adjust.
And who has been our damn physical trainers? Like our trainers, oh my God.
They changed the training staff.
Yeah, they have to do something because we stay hurt.
I said this, L, back in the day. I think the Bears with the Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks and all that, we had a chance.
Oh, they clearly had a chance.
If people, Akeem Hicks could not stay on the field.
18 and 19.
So would you tell them?
They
Yes.
clearly had a chance.
We had a
to be good.
chance.
But then there was a Mitch problem. There's always something. There's always something that's keeping you from doing what you need to do.
But Mitch, tell you the truth, that year Mitch did not have a bad year. I think for one, if Anthony, what was his name, Anthony Miller, with that play, my God, I'm like, dude, like, where's Lovie Smith at when you need him? Because he was sitting up there telling you, always stay with the ball, always pick the ball up.
Just pick
the ball up.
So let me tell you guys another story
Just
about
watching the ball.
about watching games with those guys, like doing the football after show, working with Alex and Lance, Olin, and Matt. We used to cover practice, I'd cover practice. And I remember when Lovey came in and I'm seeing these guys and I'm like, why are they picking up incomplete passes and running them back? Like, that seems stupid. What are they doing? And then you find out, this is what they're teaching. They're teaching them getting ready to.
Just in case.
Yeah, just to do this. And then you start seeing it play out in games. You see, Charles Tillman rip a ball away and guys are going in. Those guys, man, some of the most fun I had as a reporter was watching the Bears defense of those teams when they would get a turnover. I'm sorry, Love would be pissed if I said that. A takeaway. Because those guys were killers, and they couldn't wait. Yeah. Brian Urlacher couldn't wait to destroy you on a block. Hunter Hillenmeyer couldn't wait to get you as an offensive player. So I'm used to seeing these guys do this in practice. We see it turn into a thing during Lovie Smith's tenure as Bears head coach. I'm watching games with Alex and Lance, and I shit you not, let there be a ball that hits the ground. These guys one step towards the television.
Got you, right. Because they already, there it is. Oh, wait. We're not playing anymore.
Yeah, we're not playing it, but they literally will move towards
it's ingrained in them.
Wow. It's instinct.
Ball. They move towards the TV, and I'm like,
Coaching.
Like, you guys still do this.
That's wow.
And it's embedded in them.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's what we need here. We've been dying for this. Like, I sit up there, I've been here like Eric Bieniemy.
Oh,
That
we
crazy.
saw what he talked
That
about.
crazy MF is something else.
Like,
And I like it.
And
I
that's
asked you-
some of the takes we see.
I asked for him years ago.
Could you imagine what Hard Knocks would have looked like last
Oh,
year?
my God.
Oh my God.
He wouldn't be
They
on
would have
fire.
taken off.
They
Then
would've
it
fired
would
him.
have actually been fun to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was terrible. Last
I love it. Like, don't hit the cone. The cone doesn't move. And he's right. Like, why are you hitting the cone?
What he tell us?
He told
He
that
said, "You
boy,
moving
that
slow
guy,
as
you moving
shit."
slow as shit. You look like an old man.
Yeah.
You moving like old man.
I would love it.
And this was to the rook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is like us, when we play football, that's what we grew up on.
That's what we grew
Like, your coach will chew your ass out. You
Coach
grab, you got a
Yarbrough.
face
Coach
mask,
Yarbrough was-
sit up there and
Hey,
tell you what it is that you didn't
What
do.
was it? It was underhand hook, and
Yeah.
like, what are you doing?
So wait, you're Thornton. Where'd you go?
I went to Rich East.
You went to Rich East. Okay.
I had Yarbrough and the descendant of what's the Green Bay coach?
Which one?
LaFleur?
What are you doing here?
Not Vince Lombardi.
Lombardi. I had a Lombardi as a coach.
Okay.
They ran Mankato State.
Okay.
I struck out, yo. I went to my car.
Oh, man.
He don't care.
With them license plates from Indiana and
Right,
Kentucky.
right.
Oh,
They
we went
were
freshman year.
And look,
They were doing college shit.
wait, what's it?
But-
They was investigating King High School, but they should have been investigating
Yeah.
100%.
I played for Coach Sesniak and Coach Danell, and they would get in your face and they would spit.
That's football.
Hey, guess what? Your parent wouldn't say nothing about it.
No.
They sit up there and say, get his
Mom-
ass.
My mom did.
Well,
They took me
Mom-
out, put me in Morgan
What-
Park Academy.
What
about
your dad? Your dad
let me. This is 100% just you. Matt Eberflus to me with all that hits principle BS. Coach them guys soft. It looked good for the camera.
I think the hits principle
It's Pop Warner.
in theory
It's
is
Pop Warner.
fine,
Everybody does it.
right?
It's Pop Warner.
The problem is for me, I don't think that he held people accountable when they didn't do that.
So he wasn't a leader of men.
I agree. So like the teams that I covered, one of the things that they would talk about is the concept of loafs.
I see the loaves.
They're counting them, right? Like that would be a thing in film session for those guys that they would have to deal with. But then to get back to your point about the enemy, you want to have some fun? Here's another thing for you guys to look up on YouTube.
T, right this man, please.
Look up Eric Bieniemy, Adrian Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Saw that.
Yeah. Someone posted that in the group.
I forgot what happened. Do tell.
He treated Adrian Peterson like he was Kyle Malone.
Oh, when he was on the running backs coach of the Vikings. Okay.
I mean, that's an all-time player.
And I think the caption after that, or whatever the case would be, like he saw what Adrian Peterson could be, and that's why he was like that towards Adrian
Yeah.
Peterson.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
I'm
like,
not
he
mad
was
at
like,
him.
man, you
Yeah.
didn't watch film. You don't know what you're looking at. You can't tell me what it was. Adrian Peterson's just like, I've never been treated like he's because he was always the best player, you know, like, and in college he was unstoppable, and for the most part in the pros he was unstoppable.
for sure.
Yeah.
But that rookie year,
He
Eric
told
Bieniemy
his
was
ass.
All of it.
Matter of fact, he stopped calling him Adrian Peterson. He started calling him 28.
yeah.
He said 28. What you mean? He said, matter of fact, 28.
I mean,
We're gonna put on some boxing gloves and we're gonna get into the ring
y'all know
because you're gonna be ready to fight.
when you get your number called out, not your name,
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Six?
Jesus,
You fucking up.
Like,
You fucking up.
That's me.
Yeah, I remember them days.
But see, that's what I'm saying. We go from this passive aggressive wannabe coach. Coach me hard.
Most players agree with that theory, and I think at least, and usually what happens is the first year of a new coach, they want to establish. Like even the first year under Lovey, and Lovey was like a master
Because they were 6-10 or something like that.
Yeah,
5-12.
they were 5-11 that first year.
Yeah, the first year it wasn't great.
But he set a tone, and like I remember being like, man, what's this guy doing? Because everyone had hamstring injuries that first year, so he was pushing them hard, and he was working on their conditioning, and he knew that he wanted his defense to be a running defense. They wanted to be a problem for offenses. But once they got that established, he didn't have to do that anymore because the leaders of the team,
They kept it going.
they knew that it was going to work and they believed in it. And they were like, okay, like we got to make sure that everyone is on board. And if you're not on board, you won't play here. If you don't do your job, Brian Urlacher is going to call you out, or Lance Briggs is going to call you out, or Mike Brown is going to call you out.
Mike Brown.
Man, I miss
Mike Brown. Brownie was in the city a few weeks ago. I ran into him at Izzy's place, the Signature.
Oh, you went to Signature? Okay.
Yeah. And I ran into him there, and he's just good people, man. He's one of my favorite. I always joke with him. I was like, like in my mind, I'm you. Like that's who I was supposed to be was you, because we're really like the same size, and I'm like, yeah, smart, physical, like I was supposed to be you, and he was like, you're not me. I'm like, you're right about that, Mike B. You're right about that, but that's my man. He's one of my favorite players to cover. And we
loved Mike Brown as a fan base.
that was my favorite number. I wore it all the time. 30 is the only number I wore for like the long. I would refuse to wear
And
it.
the injury, and that's why we jumped around this. Okay, when we get a Sean Gale, when we get a Mark Carrier, when we get a Mike Brown, that changes things.
It does. To have what Urlacher used to always say is Mike Brown, no matter what defense they were in, he would make it right. So if Urlacher called the wrong look, Mike Brown would be like, hey, we need to do this. Like he always made it right. I will die on this hill if either Mike Brown or Tommy Harris
We win the Super Bowl. Come on.
Either one. And if both of them play, it's a blowout.
Because Peyton probably doesn't score, and the whole
Well, first of all,
Thomas Jones shit don't matter.
Mike Brown would have never blew that fucking coverage.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't have.
Yeah,
Because he would have already been
blown
back.
that.
he wouldn't have blown the coverage.
He would have already been back. Reggie Wayne would have got that
Shout out
lollipop.
to Daniel Manning.
Yes.
But
Love him. But
and Tank Johnson, Jeff Saturday pushed Tank Johnson around. He turned him sideways the entire game. And that would not have happened with Tommy Harris. But that's a hill I will die on. Either Mike Brown or Tommy Harris playing in Super Bowl, the Bears win. And if they both play, it's a blowout. It's not even close.
I damn near blacked out when Hester took it back.
I know.
I blacked out. I said,
Even
oh my
with
God,
all
I
that-
couldn't believe it.
with the Cedric Benson thing, God rest his soul, we still had a chance.
Prince was playing. It was raining. He wasn't supposed to perform
That
Purple Rain. and he
made it a
performed
bit
Purple
harder
Rain.
though when they had Cedric Benson carrying the ball.
Well, they honestly in that game, like Cedric getting hurt is a big part of the reason why they lost. Not the only reason, but they needed a sledgehammer.
They were trying to do the 1-2 punch thing,
and,
right?
and it was working for the most part inside of that game. Let me tell you guys a story about that.
Mhm.
So we're down in Miami. We're there for 9 days. It's one of the best moments of my career.
Vacation.
It wasn't a vacation. It was crazy. So me and my guy, Zach Zaidman, Zach was a sideline reporter for the Bears. So the choice was like, okay, he was going to cover the Bears because he was staying where the Bears were, and I was going to cover the Colts for the week.
Gotcha.
So I had to go to Fort Lauderdale every day. And Miami to Fort Lauderdale is not fun, even though they're relatively
It's not.
close.
What hours change?
It's like going to Naperville in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, the traffic.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
traffic.
You gotta fly to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun at all.
this whole week.
But we were taking a bus. You know, there was a media bus that picked you up at the hotel and drive you to Fort Lauderdale. So those 9 days were amazing. We had great shows. We met a lot of interesting people. I saw Prince perform twice, which is amazing. But I'm sitting there doing the Scores pregame show.
Mhm.
I was the last person out of the convention center on Super Bowl Sunday because I basically was like, our boss was like, you're going to walk it up to 30 minutes before game time and then go cover the game. Back. So I leave the convention center. I'm the only one on the media bus to get to Miami Gardens. I get there. It was the most security I'd ever seen for an NFL game. it's crazy. They do like the AI recognition stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was the whole thing: check your bag, pat you down, blah 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 blah. I literally got to my seat as the ball was being kicked off, and then you have
yeah.
And so now look, I'm on fire because I'm pissed, and I'm pissed because the entire week in Fort Lauderdale, the first question that I asked Tony Dungy,
Are you gonna kick to Devin Hester?
I'm going to kick it to Devin Hester, and he said no, we're not doing that. And so I'm sitting there going, man, Tony Dungy out here lying. And I hope they get what they deserve. And there's Devin Hester. 2 years ago, I had Tony Dungy on Football Night in Chicago, NBC Sports Chicago. And I told my producer, I said, listen, I got something I got to ask him. And he might hang up on us. So I just want you to be ready. So I was like, Tony, I got to ask you something. Man to man, me and you. I said, I was in Fort Lauderdale before Super Bowl 41. And he's like, I know what you're going to say.
He said,
I said, I got to finish this question. I said, I asked you if you were going to kick to Devin Hester. And you told, he's like, I remember the whole thing. So he's like, I didn't lie to you. The plan was not to kick to Devin Hester.
Feel a bad kick.
No. He said that the plan was to not kick to him, but the night before the Super Bowl, he was reading the Bible, and he was reading a passage about fear in the Bible, and that he wasn't going to be afraid of Devin Hester. He was like, "That's why we kicked off to him," and I was like, "Well, didn't go great." But then it went great.
It went great.
Still ain't no winning. So,
but that's like that moment where he's like, I know what you're gonna say. I didn't lie to you, but I remember.
You remember, like
Devin Hester was so dominant. We would have these conference calls with coaches every week, and it was the first thing the coaches talked about, what their plan was. Whether they were going to kick it out of bounds.
Special teams plan, Mark.
It's really insane the difference that guy made.
you had to make a plan. Right?
And he should have been first ballot.
He really should have. If
I'm
we're
standing on that.
If we're talking about a place where the best of the best are supposed to live.
At the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah, it's the Hall of Fame, and there's no one that, especially with the rule changes, that's never going to be broken. He might as well be Pete Rose. Like that's never. He might be Joe DiMaggio.
They can't even return a kick anymore.
Like that's never going to be.
Analytics say it's better to not return.
Yeah, and I mean that's what a lot of teams were trying to figure out back then. Give the Bears the ball at the 40, and hope that you could turn Rex Grossman over. Like these are the choices that they were making. But
because dude gonna be a problem,
no doubt.
I mean, like that's the only player where you gotta go take a piss. You like, oh no, hold on, they about to put the ball.
Yeah,
they about to punt.
Let me hold it.
Hey, look, Devin said that. He said that on my podcast. He literally said that if you were thinking about going to the bathroom, you couldn't. And once you heard Soldier Boy, you knew it was on.
It was on.
They cranked that Soldier Boy at Soldier Field. As soon as you heard it, you had everybody going crazy. Like, oh, Devin about to get the ball kicked to him. Something's about to happen here.
Hey, Laurence. So speaking of like when we're talking about coaches, right? Reason to segue for our next question. A lot of people in the chat are sitting here wondering why is it that it takes forever for Chicago coaches, not just the Bears, Chicago coaches to get fired. Specifically, a certain Billy Donovan. We still got him, but Tim just got
fired. Some bulls up? Hey, Lawrence, the goat ain't walking through that door.
He's not. Here's what I'll say. Chicago ownership has proven to be very loyal to their hires. And so it takes them a long time to make change. I, for one, think Billy Donovan's a really good coach. I don't think that he's been given a very good roster. Then again, one can make the argument he had a pretty decent roster in OKC and didn't reach the heights that is good. I wish you guys could have, like, that's what I mean, like when I see like going out and being in the field
and seeing different things. Yeah.
Billy Donovan's pregame chat with the media is amazing. Like, you can learn so much basketball. He just doesn't have what he needs. I don't understand why they gave Patrick Williams $90 million.
Ooh, what you saying?
Like, it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense.
Bring something to your attention, sir.
Hold on. Before we go there, right? Keeping on to the coaches talk. But then, like, couldn't you make the fact too, though, like, even when he had, given the roster he does have, and like even with all these young players, it just felt like he just wasn't developing them or rotating them, you know what I'm saying, giving the players that should have got time, playing time sooner rather than later.
I would say that in his defense, Kobe White has become a better player under Billy Donovan. He's also become a better player under my guy Peter Patton, who they fired, which I think is
didn't make any. Thank you.
Doesn't make any sense. and Io has clearly become a better player. And getting to his second contract, and he got there quicker because he was a second-round pick. Billy, and you could see the difference in the way that he coached them. Like, Billy with the young players is a lot harder on them. And he can, the ones that are willing, he gets stuff out of them. I don't know what's happened here. I know that it's not the curse of Jordan anymore. Like, I know that's died out. Like, from an NBA generation standpoint, that was 3 generations ago.
Yeah.
Right. So
they're not coming here because of Mike.
Right. They're like,
not.
no one's doing that anymore. But the reason that I can't figure out why a lot of people don't even make it to free agency. Like, you have to do some sort of stupid trade, like trade one of the best players in the league to Los Angeles for no good reason. Because he's not in shape.
You on fire now.
Yeah.
You on fire.
So getting guys to come here is difficult, and I don't know what's going to fix that for the Bulls. I understand not seeing success and being like, maybe it's the coach. I don't think it's Billy. I think it's higher than Billy. And the philosophical part with Arturis and Mark Eversley, who I like personally.
Come on.
I don't know where they're going. Like, they seem to be happy in the middle, and they seem to be happy with the concept of, we'll just play well enough to
Get the playing turn.
and that's trash. To me.
Does that not remind you of Garpax?
Yeah, a little bit, but the difference,
Derrick Rose was the difference.
That's
and that doesn't count.
And to me, Garpax, they were trying. I feel like when I'm watching Acme do their thing, it's like they think that something is just going to click, and it never quite clicks.
I can't hold it in no more. I think Billy Donovan is a shitty coach.
Why do you think he's shitty?
I think he's fucking shitty. I don't think Billy Donovan has a fucking clue what he's doing. Actually, I think Billy Donovan, the only reason why people are actually high on him when he really has a job is still because they still holding on to the Florida shit. The thing is this: I have stopped watching Bulls games. I watch more Chicago Sky games than I watch Bulls games because I can't stand sitting up there seeing Billy Donovan like this, chewing fucking gum the whole goddamn time, knowing that first of all, your squad is too fucking small. That's for one. You got about 11 fucking guards.
7 point guards in one time to be exact.
3 between the play.
But he's
1
not
to 3.
responsible for.
No. It's not just that because the thing is this: when you watch Bulls games, Bulls do pretend to do. They do pretty well when they throw the ball inside the Vooch. When they have Vooch down there on the block and they're working inside and out. Because when you're working inside and out, it frees up shooters. The Bulls don't have the best shooters, but I'll tell you this: it's like a damn near fact. A player has a better shot of hitting an open jump shot than he does a contested one. Vooch is a problem down low, but then they don't have a power forward. Somebody like Vooch's weakness.
They don't have a rim protector.
But see, I would have started Jalen Smith. Why not? He protects the rim. He's a guy that can go inside and out as well. Why not sit up there and run that? Yeah. But instead, you want to constantly keep coming out here with these little small ass squads. And yes,
Javonte Green.
Yes, we had Javonte Green.
Our high power forward
legend.
Yeah,
our high power forward.
Playing power forward. And yes, Arturas Karnisovas. I think I said his name.
Wow.
Yeah. Get his ass out of here 3 years ago. This is a dude that I thought that they said helped build that Denver Nuggets team.
He found Jokic. Like, that's what it is. He did.
Second round, albeit.
To find a Hall of Fame player in the second round is pretty amazing. To find a finals MVP in the second round was pick 44 or whatever it was.
You know what?
That's amazing.
Look, that's one.
But you know what?
That's a hell of a one.
That's a unicorn.
Yeah. He found a unicorn.
You know, he found another unicorn. The thing is, people just don't use him because I'm tired of hearing about this Wembley shit. Yes, Bol is a fucking unicorn.
I'm a big fan of Bol.
We asked him for Bol.
I'm like, man, can you please? I mean, how did you have him on the Windy City Bulls? You drafted the dude, and you have not tried to get the guy.
He don't make the roster,
man.
He was at Phoenix,
and I have some bias here because I called his games in college. They had Max Strus.
The ball. Come on now.
They had him. He was here. He was a Windy City Bull, and then he signs.
Then he went to Miami and to Cleveland. Yep. Right? Yeah.
Like, and you don't see the you couldn't see the vision. Like, that's the type of stuff that does bother me.
They're inept to the point, from a layman's person. I played basketball overseas, albeit. I have a pro resume. I know when I watch things and I say, well, when the Bulls on draft night say we need a point guard, a power forward, and a rim protector, and then with the fourth pick, they draft Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
But they pass on Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Who, with some people, was the number one person in the draft. Lawrence, what are we doing?
It really doesn't make a lot of sense. I understand drafting on potential. And that's what you're looking at with Patrick Williams. Like,
he's averaging, what do you average in Florida State?
I have a lot of questions about a guy that continues to show you that even though he has all the things, like if you were building a player, it would look like Patrick Williams. But there's something missing in his game that doesn't allow him to tap in to his talent. And we've all seen it. We've all played against that guy. We've all played against the guy that you go, you know, if I had that,
I would be this. Right.
Why aren't you better? Like that's all I keep saying whenever and you look at the statistics, you go, wait a minute, you shoot 40% from three and you're not good.
You
average
9 points.
How?
You get 5 boards.
It doesn't make
you
sense.
did at Florida State. My thing is this: when I came out and I heard the measurables talking about he's Kawhi Leonard-esque.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
You remember?
And that was only because of
the hands. Come on now, Chris. That's where I love, because now you're not giving me the potential of the player.
Yeah.
You're drafting off of measurables only.
Yeah, and their drafting isn't an exact science, but
true.
But it's, let's say you got it wrong. Look, they're always draft busts. I can forgive that. You took a swing at a guy that was 6'9" and athletic. I don't have a problem with that.
Can I get the draft hit though?
You re-upped him. That's my
And not only re-upped
for 90.
You gave him like
that's
my
crap ton of money.
But then not only that, you look at what they gone and drafted. Then they go out in the draft and they draft Dancing Dalen Terry. Because that's the best thing he does is dance. Dancing Dalen Terry.
So
come on, you know it is.
Look. And again, it's one of those things of like being out in the field helps to make a better opinion. I don't like Dalen Terry's game at all. And I know that he's made some improvements this year.
What is his game? One day he's a point guard. One day he's a small forward.
His game is energy. Like, that's his game, is that he's supposed to be up and down the floor. And I will say that he is maximum effort. And shout out to Deadpool. He is maximum effort. And I have no problem with that. I remember watching him in pregame, guys, you guys know, like guys warm up, like they're working on stuff, they're working with the coaching staff. And the Bulls had a bunch of guys that played ball, like played serious ball. And those coaches would work him. Like guys that were in the league for a little bit, guys that have been out of the league for a decade, they would spot up.
He don't have it.
I think Dalen Terry is valuable.
He's a quadruple A player.
Way down the bench for a really good team. If he's your 10th man on a team, that's good.
And put his ass out there with Benny the
Till,
Bull
but
and
never
shit. They can
use
be out
him,
there
man.
tossing popcorn and he can be doing his little dances.
But where
You look just like him when you did that.
where you drafted him says he needs to.
Yes.
But you were
The first round was-
misdiagnosed because remember he was drafted to become a point guard.
Yeah. And
you
he doesn't
never
really
addressed
have
it.
handles.
Come on, man.
He doesn't shoot well. He's not a distributor, so I don't know why. Like
He went to Arizona. That's it.
yeah.
I just feel like if we just knew, like, I guess if they knew what they wanted to actually like draft and how they wanted to build this team, because that's what it feels like the last 3, 4, going on 5 years now. It's just like, what is it that they're trying to build? Because again, we're talking about like all these power forwards, we're like, all these point guards, right?
Wait, I got you. You know you drafted a power forward, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is though,
You
you
just
got
put
all
him in
these point
center,
guards.
and he didn't make the team. So
And
now
what
I'm
are
going
you
from
doing though? Like, what are
UConn.
how are we going to
13
move
to 10,
forward
if I'm
from
not
this?
mistaken.
And I think that's where, like, that's what they have to do. They have to figure out, hey, here's where we need to be at, and they got to make the hard decisions and just go towards it. Versus like, well, we're okay with again just a playing tournament, right?
Hell, I want all of them
That's
gone.
the end all be all. And I'm like,
I
so
want
what?
all of them
Do
gone.
they need to just scrap everything?
I want AK gone.
But
I want Eversley gone. I
Another
want
rebuild?
Donovan gone. I want to. Remember we was talking about Kenny Atkinson and what he did. Kenny Atkinson was my pick,
I don't think
and I like what he did
we're-
with Cleveland.
if things continue to go the way that they are, I don't think that you're going to see this management team and this coach be here if things go badly.
But didn't they give him an extension?
Billy got an extension last year.
And I
Secret
stood though.
extension.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I stood. Nobody knows how many
Why?
years,
It just says he
how
got
much
extension.
money, anything. It's
I
just,
mean,
oh
it
yeah,
might be.
you know,
It might be.
Oh, and his son took over the Windy City Bulls.
I wonder if maybe what happens is maybe Billy becomes
So he does a Brad Stevens type jump.
maybe he goes upstairs and someone else.
Oh
maybe-
Lord, please, not enough.
I think that he's better at evaluating talent than his current bosses, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't look to try and find the best talent evaluator anywhere in the
But he can
world.
chew gum like nobody's business. I know that.
But Lawrence, let me ask you this: when you had the situation, albeit it was fleeting, you took a flyer on Lonzo Ball, knowing he ain't gonna play that much.
Yeah.
But you when he was playing, he was number one, right? Number one in the league. He gets hurt,
I can't believe that they continue to like the miracle was him coming back.
but
And
then
then
you re-upped him.
and again, to re-up a player, even though it's only $10 million, and I'm saying only.
Only, but
But yeah, the miracle was him being healthy enough. They should have welcomed him back. They should have let him play. And then they should have been like, thank you so much. We're so
take
happy.
the insurance exemption and get out the contract.
Or you're going to be a free agent. Go be a free agent. We're good. We're not going to sign you to an extension.
We stuck by you for all these years.
We really- and we
you
didn't have
basically
to.
got free money. Shit, we just gave it to you.
And-
Yes, ain't close.
And you're a medical miracle. Like,
Yeah.
there's no doubt about that. Medical miracle. But yeah, there's a lot of issues, and considering where they are as far as the salary cap goes, there's not a lot of help coming their way.
No, because we got a bunch of
And
mediocre
that's what I'm
players.
saying.
coming
Well,
in.
and then even with the Giddy and the Kevin Herter, like,
Don't get me
It's-
started on Josh Giddey.
no, I
Well,
want you to be
Let's
started.
switch up gears for
I
a
just want
second.
them to
Let's
kill
switch
it.
up gears for a second. So you were talking about first-year coaches
Mhm.
when we were talking about the Bears. Let's talk about first-year managers.
Okay.
Like for the White Sox. Is he one and
Do
done?
we have to?
Is he one and done?
I don't think Will Venable is bad at his job. I think that he can grow and become a good manager. The problems with the White Sox are systemic.
Thank you.
There's
Same owner.
Same owner.
So-
Both teams.
the problems with the White Sox are whoever your favorite manager is.
Ozzy.
Pull any of them out of like time. You want to bring Connie Mack in here? Like 30-year-old Connie Mack in here? Not going to make the White Sox better.
So the
You
players,
want 50-year-old Tony La Russa and not 75-year-old Tony La Russa managing the White
Oh,
Sox?
St. Louis,
Oh,
Tony. Right.
I'm saying Oakland.
Oakland.
Tony La Russa.
Bass Brothers.
Not making the White Sox better. It is not. Managers look bad, and Pedro Grifol had no idea what he was doing.
He just took it.
He just took it
He just
because
took the job because it was a job.
But Will Venable, I think, is a smart guy that, unfortunately, I don't think that he'll be managing the White Sox if and when they turn it around. I think they'll just be too much bad for them. They're going to have another 100-loss season. And the only reason that people aren't talking mad shit about them is because the Rockies are so
the Rockies are worse than us. Yeah.
But if you look year to year, the White Sox are about in the same place they were last year.
Yeah.
They're not better.
They
They're not
just
too
got
far off.
swept by the fucking Orioles, and the Orioles is just as bad.
I just saw something. What was it, 13-2 or 1?
Yeah,
Nah,
they-
that was by Detroit.
Detroit.
It would have just been
They might have
murdered.
just whooped this.
okay,
yesterday.
so
I haven't even looked to see where they.
So
did it.
let's take out Venable.
Okay.
Let's insert I don't know, like a La Russa from Oakland.
Hey, they won 8-1.
What the fuck?
Oh wow.
did?
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
the sun shines on the
Being
dog.
tipsy.
79.
So we took out Venable. We're putting in another manager.
I don't think
who's
they have enough talent.
So you
to
say
put up there to
talent
win.
is
It-
Their
Even with the
general
coaching.
manager does not evaluate.
First of all,
talent.
how does the general manager that what was he doing something in AAA?
Scouting director.
Yeah,
How did
Chris
he get the
Getz.
job?
Now we all remember Chris Getz because he was a former Chicago White
He
Sox.
was a player.
And now
I
all
like
of a
Chris
sudden,
Getz.
he becomes what? What is he? The vice president?
He's the
Or
general
general
manager.
manager?
I don't understand it. I had someone tell me
How?
that Chris Getz would probably make a good GM 5 years from when he was hired.
But where is his start point to prove that he even has
There-
the mindset?
there is
Is
none.
none.
Which is the problem.
Yes.
That's because that's
Yeah.
Jerry, like he said.
I remember
Jerry
years
Johnson.
ago. I'm gonna take you back in the Wayback Machine. Years ago, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knew that B.J. Armstrong was about to be the next general manager of the Chicago Bulls. What happened?
John Paxson.
And I'm not saying that Paxson wasn't a decent Derrick Rose, who I think.
You can't miss on the Derrick Rose team.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. Elton Brand, remember before?
There are good picks in there, for sure.
But how do you say you're grooming somebody to take that position? Then when you don't give him the position, the guy that we have ends up giving us 20 years of ineptitude.
Yeah, and with the Chris Getz thing, like you can't.
Same thing with the White Sox.
Part of the problem with the White Sox has been they have not developed or drafted really well.
Nope.
And whose job was that? That was Chris Getz's job.
Okay,
And
Chris
now you're
Getz's
going to
job.
give him a promotion? That seems.
But go back, Lawrence, because as much as I don't care for him, Kenny Williams did a better job.
Well,
He would get older, dog, like we get Ken Griffey when he's 40.
yeah. he threw that guy out in the blackout game, though. So,
Right. True.
you know, it was worth it. But
Hey, but you know what? We won.
yeah, Kenny.
05, we won.
I think Kenny deserves a lot more credit than fans have given him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Absolutely. That's what I said.
I actually
So,
like
so
it.
we're talking about, think about it. This is 20 years this season
Mm-hmm.
since we won the World Series. 20 years. If you go back before that, the last time we was in the World Series conversation, Big Frank and them, strike season, we were supposed to play the Montreal Expos in the championship games, 94, 95.
Until the Sox go 108 years, I don't want to hear nothing.
Like every
Well, I
time
mean, they did go 88.
Yeah.
So Lawrence, before we let you go, I know you're a huge food connoisseur because I listen to your show and you talk about different foods. So I'm gonna ask you this, the same question we've asked a lot of guys. We've asked Bernard Berrien, Rasheed Davis, Uncle Remus, or Harold.
I'm a Harold's guy.
Come on.
I love Uncle Remus though. Like I'm not.
I'm
You're not
saying
from my
bad.
side.
The
that's all.
sauce is good.
I
The sauce is
don't
good.
like.
Chicago
To
beef?
me, it's like you have to be in a mood for Uncle Remus, and there needs to be like, man, I'm doing this today. Like
A
you,
lot of napkins.
you need lots. I will say that both of those places have the worst napkins.
They got the little-
So they need to invest in better
And
now.
they know
One ply. They got the one ply.
they know that we're all going home and just pulling like 4 paper towels.
And then you look
out.
at the stuff on your finger.
I mean, they do have the worst napkins, but yeah, I've been so growing up in Roseland, our neighbor across the street, Mr. Pete, owned the Heralds on 103rd and Halsted,
Nice.
Oh, that's the one.
right?
Yeah.
So on Fridays, his son and my brother were like best friends. So Pete Watts, I want to say his name was, and William Watts was my brother's friend. Friday, he'd bring us a bucket.
No.
Yeah, he just bring us a bucket. So I mean, it's hard to like
Yeah. So
when
that's
you
it.
grow up on it like that. Like it's hard to turn down Harold's.
Man, yeah. We're Harold's people over here too.
And
Yeah,
I
so
wanna
the
ask
Harold's
you-
on 10 Trey and Halsted. Let's go.
I want to ask you one question. Is this stadium getting done? And if it is, where is it going to be at?
Oh, shit.
The Bears Stadium?
That was before the Chicago game. Damn.
Jeez.
Oh, shit.
We ain't gonna play the Chicago game because I think
Yeah,
Bucks have to
yeah.
go.
I mean,
So we're
yeah,
not
he,
gonna hold
he's got to
it.
go.
No, he gotta go.
And he's
Hold
well
it.
versed in the South Side.
I would be.
He will win it.
Arlington Heights is where this thing is going to go, and I feel like it's always going to go there.
Defensive state ain't gonna kick in.
Because they saying that it's a lot of Democrats that's like,
Yeah,
look here,
we actually
we're not
talked to
allowing
them.
you to move. You're not doing that.
We talked to Cam Buckner on the show today, and he said that the problem isn't that people are against them moving to Arlington Heights. The problem is that the Bears have still yet to show a plan to the state
A
legislature.
development plan. Right. Oh.
That's the problem. But to me,
That's all Warren though, right?
yes. And I think that he's been trying to build a coalition of people that are going to help him out in this regard. They tried the city stuff and it didn't work. Now, the Fire beat the White Sox.
Oh,
to
yeah.
second
Which
place.
is weird, but
When you're
continue.
willing to spend your own money,
And-
Because they got it.
Money talk.
here's
No, but they got it.
Yeah.
The Bears,
Yeah.
come on, the Bears got it. The Bears
The
got it.
Bears got it too, but they bought that land with intention.
Prematurely,
But let me just explain to you guys why. This is from my time of covering the Bears.
Mm.
From a football standpoint, the Bears as an organization have not had the best relationship with the Park District.
Yeah.
And the Park District
for
runs Soldier
years.
Field,
There you go.
not the Bears. And they
rent it.
They've hated it. They hated the fact that they don't get to deal with the grass until a day before the game.
Mhm.
Think about all of we're all Chicagoans here. We've seen weekends where there's a high school game on Friday, there's a college game on Saturday, then the Bears are playing on dirt
Yeah, come
on
on.
Sunday,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Kanye built a fucking house on Soldier Field when he did a concert there 3 days before the Bears
They
played.
played. I
They
remember
were
that.
out there
Yes.
painting the dirt,
Yeah,
green
come on.
It was
To make it look like grass.
to make it
I
look
remember
like
that,
grass.
yes.
So they have always hated that. And then you have like they're not getting all the revenue that they could from their own place. I understand where they're at. I don't have a problem with them leaving. Like I really don't. Like I'm okay with them going to Arlington Heights and doing their thing. I do think that a bunch of people who think that this is going to make their lives easier as Bears fans are sorely mistaken. I know that getting to the lakefront is difficult. It's
Well,
difficult. Enjoy Arlington Heights, which is smack dab in the middle of O'Hare traffic,
Thank you. Come on now.
Schaumburg traffic,
And,
and
fucking tonight. Oh my
yes,
God.
When is
Oh
290
my
ever free?
God.
Like, it might be free right now.
and
No, it's not.
No, it's
1
not.
o'clock in the
It might
morning.
not.
and people, they're gonna have to deal with like the infrastructure part of that and try to because game day is gonna be a nightmare for people. But whatever. There's a part of me that really respects the way that Kevin Warren is doing this, and there's a part of me that hates it. The part of me that respects it is like he is trying hard to leverage everybody. Like he's like going around like, oh yeah, we're gonna put it here, and yeah, we'll talk to Naperville, and we'll blah 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 blah, and all this shit. And the part of me that hates it is you're wasting time, dog. Like This should have been done. And had you once you bought the $200 million parcel in Arlington Heights, if you just said, this is what we're doing, it would have been a lot easier to get everyone on board instead of trying to hype up all the city people and having the mayor look like a fool.
That part was crazy because when Warren came out with his plan, remember George and Ted had already purchased Arlington with the old racetrack. They had already did it. So Kevin Warren came in like, wait a minute. Y'all already got land and I'm supposed to cultivate?
I'm certain that Kevin Warren, in taking the job, like in my mind, and the fan fiction like idea for me is I can imagine Kevin Warren being at his condo downtown. Like I can see it in my head, like him in like full pajamas and a robe with a binder, and him talking to his wife and being like, Greta, can you believe this bullshit?
This some bull.
I didn't want to say Bible for a second, but
well, the Bible's probably underneath the binder. Can you believe this bullshit? They want me to figure out a way to get them a tax deal when they already showed their hand and bought the land in Arlington Heights.
Premature. Why would you buy the land with a regime change?
Yeah, it's
bad.
The Chicago Bears thing to do.
Honestly, that probably was the most
Absolutely.
Chicago Bears thing to do at the end of the day. 'Cause
Well,
that's just what they do.
so
all for the course.
I think it'll be Arlington Heights.
But not this year. Not next year.
I mean, it was gonna take a while.
Pritzker already said no.
My feeling
said
has
no.
been
We ain't got no money.
they would be better off asking JB Pritzker for a personal loan because
As
he
a-
got it.
we know
that
He
city.
got
Yeah.
He, as a billionaire, absolutely has it.
Because he got it.
You know, live is.
Fred Flintstone got that money.
I mean, I don't know. He might not be able to go in because he might be trying to do other things in a few
Yes,
years.
be
But
president.
anyway,
Because you know that's coming, right?
But that's part of his platform. No public money for private enterprise.
Enterprise, yes.
It's one of the things that he's going to run on is that. So we'll see. But I would, if you're asking me to bet, I would bet Arlington Heights.
2028.
Oh man, I hate that because I have season tickets. I don't want to travel to Arlington.
Well, you're going to
Nobody
Arlington
wants to go to
Heights.
Arlington.
Oh man, I don't want to
It's
do that.
9 times a year.
Hey, Laurence, he can get the Metro, right?
Well,
Hopefully.
they say they're going to have a Metro stop there, but good luck with all of that, bruh.
Yeah.
The same people that are talking about, well, there's going to be a Metro stop there. Guess what? There's a Metro stop at Soldier Field.
This
So
is
it
true. And
Yeah.
right underneath.
And
It's right there.
Drops
And
you off right
it's a
there.
red line there. It's a green line there.
Better believe it. And
All
people-
this right
And
there.
I
Still
definitely remember
complaining.
taking
It's
that trip from
still
Crystal Lake
a
to
mess.
Soldier Field, and it was still not a good time.
No. And going back, I'm sure wasn't fun at all with
Yeah.
all the drunk people.
Damn.
Yeah. and then just imagine all those drunk ass people coming back to the city in 2 nights of travel.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's
Okay,
all
give me a cop.
there's all sorts of problems.
you know,
with it.
that's
Just
on the
Bob
back of
Michael
it.
Reese or McCormick
But
Place.
you look-
Get it
that's on
over
the
with.
back
Old
of it.
McCormick Place.
There's a lot of stuff too, where again, it comes to the city, the added revenue, whatever the case might be, right? So, silver lining for some people versus others at the end of the day.
Or
So
this
so
place,
Lawrence,
we don't do.
can you tell us everywhere we can find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm not doing as much on Twitter these days, but at Laurence W.
I don't
Holmes is
blame you.
where you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm doing more stuff on Instagram. So at Laurence W. Holmes, and my name is spelled Laurence.
Yes, God damn it.
And
Yes.
No W.
LAU.
We know that.
Now
No
there is a
W.
W, but it's my middle initial, but not in my name. So like the same, Laurence, LAURENCEW, Holmes, HOLMES. That's where people can find me. I have the House of L podcast. Please check out. There's a scroll through. There's a lot of really good episodes that people maybe missed, and some that I really, really enjoy with great guests that talk about all sorts of stuff. You can catch me on the Spiegel and Holmes show on the Score from 2 until 6 every day, Monday through Friday, with my man Matt Spiegel and my guy Chris Tannehill, who is amazing. Like that guy is.
That's what I listen to. That's my show.
He's Chris
Only one
Tannehill.
I listen to.
Chris
Two,
Tannehill.
y'all give me everything I need.
Thank you. We're doing our best, but like I said, there's a lot of good shows, and I love what's happening on middays now. Like I'm a big Layla fan. Layla and Marshall are putting together, I think, a really good, strong show, and they're just starting, man. Like, and you can see like how good it's gonna be, and you can like they're having fun with it. And their show is produced by a really great producer named Ray Diaz, who is awesome. So that's where you can find me. And now I'm gonna like take a little break because I've been teaching this quarter. My kiddos at DePaul.
Summer break.
Yeah, it's definitely summer break, man. And more than likely you can find me in Montreal.
Summertime shot. Or in that new car. Or in that new car you just bought, right?
You're not gonna catch me in the new car.
Hey, so we are going to follow you on Instagram, man. Please follow us back.
I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for the opportunity. This was fun.
This was awesome.
I actually got married here in Lacuna Law.
Really?
So,
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My party was downstairs on the first floor.
That's
So I know a lot of people that have their shops in here and everything. So it's cool to kind of come back here and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, you used to get your haircut over there.
Yeah, I used to get my haircut across the hall.
Yeah, I just met Walt today, man.
Big Walt is the realness, man. Like that's one of my dudes. Like I was so happy to see him. I hear his gravelly voice when I walk in. Yeah, I used to like right across the hall. I used to get my hair coming here.
I certainly did.
Yes, I don't need it anymore. But
I can't buy just to do it, just to get a buzz cut again.
Yeah, but the Big Walt, man, he'll take good care of you. He's a tactician with the Clippers, man.
There you go.
For sure, that's what I need. Man, we appreciate.
Got anybody you want to shout out to?
I mean, the whole crew at the Score, appreciate them. My nephew Price Tag, who's an up and coming music producer and does all sorts of stuff for my podcast.
Come on, man.
My brother Braxton, and please go look up his catalog. Like if you're an old house head, his catalog is robust. When you get shouted out by Daft Punk, you must be doing something right.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, the whole Holmes clan, we appreciate all the support and what it is that we're doing. And my kiddos at DePaul, they had a really great quarter. I'm very proud of them. They work very hard and they're going to make great broadcasts.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You sound like the kind of professor I needed.
I try to be, I want to be there for the students. They pay a lot of money to go to DePaul. I want them to get an experience of what it's like in the real world. And so that's what the class has been. And they take to it and they work hard every single year. I am impressed
there you go.
with how hard they work. And I know there are a lot of people like, oh, this generation, I love the Gen Z kids, man. They don't quite know what they're doing, but they are willing to ask you and they listen.
You explain the why. You explain this generation the why,
and they'll
empower them.
They will run through a fucking wall for you.
100%.
They will, and I always joke about it, and I say that what I love about them is the way that they react to me is like, "Hey, old guy,
damn,
do you know stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know stuff. I know stuff. Can you teach us stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Awesome. So we're going to take the stuff that you teach us, and then we know all this stuff, and we're going to put it together, and it's going to be. And I adore them. They try so hard, and they want to be great, and I want to help them be great. I'm a big proponent of lift as you climb. It is a big thing for me, and so to see those students succeed, it's the best thing. That's the beauty of coming from a family full of teachers. Is I kind of got there in a backwards way. I teach what I do, so I call myself a scholar practitioner. But now that I have this opportunity, I don't take it for granted. And these kids out here, they're hungry and they want to learn, and they just need someone to listen to them. And I had this discussion with my parents, this past weekend. Remember, when you're dealing with these Gen Z kids, I know everyone got something to say, but when you're dealing with them, remember, we asked them to do something which is fucking unprecedented. We told them for a year and a half, you got to do school on a computer. You don't get to have personal interaction with other people. And they're still dealing with that. That trauma, you can see that it takes them a while to open up and get comfortable with people. So cut them some slack, man. I really have a ton of respect for them and what it is that they're trying to do. And I know that it can be annoying, we don't quite get them, but I remember as a Gen Xer what it was like for us and what people said about Gen X, that we were a bunch of fucking slackers and we weren't doing this, and what were we doing with our weird clothes and riding skateboards and all the other shit. A bunch of latchkey kids, right?
They still say that about me.
I know that's right. That's because you went to Carmel.
That's what they said about you.
They know y'all was over there cheating. I talked to Twan. Me and Twan Walker are good people. I know.
Oh, don't forget about Simeon Rice too.
Yeah.
Man, Simeon, man, I keep on contacting him.
He
He don't want to sit down with us.
D McNabb was on that team too. He was the point guard.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah,
I'm aware.
you know.
Yeah, I remember 1992, 93 when HF was number 2 in the state, and Mount Carmel, who was 5A when we were 6A,
Right.
they were number 1.
There you go.
And shit didn't make a lot of sense to me, but it's whatever. I'm not bitter about none of it.
Oh man, this has probably been one of the funniest podcasts we've ever had. We had a lot of fun people, but Lawrence probably takes the cake.
No, don't do that. Like you guys, I've seen the list of people that have been on your show. I'm glad that I've been asked to be on it, and I appreciate it. Shout out to Kristen. Like,
Oh yeah, Kristen, definitely.
that's my homie from college.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
really?
see, there you go.
we've known each other since college.
Okay.
So, shout out to her for putting all this together and bringing us back together. It's great, and we'll do it again.
She was trying to actually meet you here.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
her dog-
her dog's real sick, so she couldn't do it.
Yeah,
But shout out to her because she's doing a lot of good in the city.
yeah.
You know,
She
a
really
lot
is.
of good, and I'm super proud of her. Like you could tell even back then that she was someone who cared about people. And shout out to my guy Hassan Phenomenon, one of the homies. Like she's homies with him.
My dude,
Yeah, that's my intramural football receiver, man.
There you go.
You played introvert? I didn't even know.
Oh man, Hassan, no. We were a freshman team that played in the championship game. There's a bunch of freshmen. But all of us came from like football backgrounds. We was out there giving it to the men. Like straight up.
Wow.
Like we was out there as a bunch of 18-year-olds, like
Come on with it.
giving it to them. So
we about to start a 35 plus.
no, not interested.
Retired.
Retired. I retired from softball this year too. Like
Softball?
we have a media league that plays every Monday night. And I was like, I played last year. They pulled me out of retirement because we had an injury, and they were like, "Hey, we need you to. Can you play shortstop?" And I'm like, I'm 48 years old. What are y'all doing? But I made the All-Star team.
Hey, see,
That's what's up.
So you did it. I did it.
So you retiring premature.
No.
So you can.
I'm retired before everything falls
you
apart.
can retire
You
from the field.
trying
You
to
can
get
coach
that
So
college.
you,
That's what it is.
I'm
It's
retired and
that
go play flag football.
No. I see how the flag football games, man. I see him. What's that park on 39th?
No, they don't.
Hey,
They
Kyle,
on 47
Yeah,
now.
30 African.
Man, I be seeing all them dudes yelling at their girlfriends.
All three of us.
what's happening.
All
Oh,
three
y'all
of
be
us.
yelling.
I'm retired.
I be seeing them yelling. I be like, oh, they ladies out here trying to spend time with them, and they just yelling at them. Can you run? Can you catch?
Yeah.
Why are you out here?
It's a
I
girl
ain't telling
play.
you
What
that.
are you doing?
Grab the flag.
Yep, out of the three of us, he was the worst. He was the worst.
Why me?
Cause you were the quarterback.
I want
So
to get
you
on
would yell at everybody. Catch the ball! This is a girl play. Catch the ball!
That is one of the funniest things ever.
I
I will
don't know about
sometimes park my car on Drexel
Oh, and come watch.
and just sit there and be like, man, this is messed up. She don't even want to be out here. And she getting yelled at. She just out here trying to be with her man.
Right.
She getting yelled at.
Wait till we get home.
Yeah, just you wait. You out here embarrassing me.
He played with me. That was not me. It actually was her. Am I lying?
Yeah, because you ain't get the ball.
If I ain't get the ball,
Yeah.
somebody got that ball. No dinner. Like, shit.
Better throw the ball, man. But no, thanks, fellas. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank
appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we'll have you on again.
Don't forget to follow us back, man.
Oh, y'all got it?
Okay.
Gotta have you
Okay.
on We gotta have you on again, man.
Appreciate
Yes,
y'all.
sir, man.
And help yourself.
Hey, come back.
No, I'm gonna grab a water though.
Okay.
I'm
Do
gonna,
you
I,
think,
I
man?
gotta go. I gotta go watch the highlights and catch up. Make sure we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Well, us in here don't, because we don't know shit.
That's not true. Y'all be good.
All right,
Sir.
man. Take care.
Thank you.
Awesome guest, man. That was so fun.
Yes.
That was so fun, man.
That was.
I lost track of time.
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
And now it's 10 o'clock.
Hey,
10
this
o'clock.
is what we
6
try to
minutes.
tell you guys out there.
How you
A
doing?
lot of our guests we have, they're supposed to only come on and be here for probably half an hour, 45 minutes. El Boogie was just on here with us for 2 hours. 2 hours. This is what we do. In the
And
Chicago
never flinched.
Clubhouse podcast. It's like barbershop talk, baby. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna try to overtalk you. We gonna let you shine. Go on here, T. Go on here, shine, man.
People have a lot of fun when they come on this podcast, and
I can
if
stretch
people
my leg.
decide to talk about some things they might not even thought they were going to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's just that kind of atmosphere in here. So if you know anybody that you think should be on this podcast, or even if you want to be on this podcast, just let one of us know, man. We'll see when we can get you on.
Yeah, we show love to the people.
Absolutely. And so with that, I think we're gonna get right into shout outs because
I
it's
guess we gotta make a real
2 hours and 7 minutes, and I'm going to Italian beef sandwich.
You're
I
the only
know.
one.
I had pizza earlier. I might tell you Italian pizza. I haven't had one since I've been back in the city
You
yet.
gotta
I
have, you gotta have one now.
Hit
Just
that
for
music,
nostalgia
man.
purposes,
Hit that
right?
music.
We just gonna assume he did.
Come in, can you hear me? Kick that beat, man. Kick that beat.
Chill, switch again.
But
I don't hear it. There it is. Who wants to kick it up?
I'm gonna kick it out.
Yeah.
hey,
You know what I'm
Boogie.
gonna say? Hey, Boogie. Hey, first off, hey, I appreciate you guys letting me go ahead and get on the show. I was actually coming just out, hey, I just want to come hang out, kind of see it or whatever, right? But you're like, oh, just come on. I was like, all right, fine. I'm gonna go ahead and jump on it, right? But really do appreciate you, but especially being able to meet. I've met T before or whatever, so being able to come and hang out with you guys, I really do appreciate it. I would say big shout out to my wife who couldn't make it on the trip with me. She's in South Korea right now, so I'm away from the missus for a week. Kind of sucks, right? But I do appreciate her for just being there, holding the house down while I'm away, right?
There you go. There you go.
Big shout out to my kids. Got to spend time with them, and my middle son Josiah for graduating high school, right? Always an accomplishment when you go ahead and just hit that milestone. And me not been in the Army over like July hits 22 years.
Oh,
And so I've missed, real, right? I've missed a lot of milestones in my kid's life. So to be able to be here physically in person is probably more, I think more than my son will ever know.
That's awesome.
Right?
That's beautiful.
And then my last shout out is going to go ahead and be to my unit up in South Korea, the best field artillery battery in the United States Army.
come on,
Alpha
man.
Battery, which is Apocalypse Battery,
Come
6th
on, Willie.
Battalion, 37 Field Artillery.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
But that's it for my shout outs, though. I really do appreciate y'all.
Appreciate your service,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Chris, JB, but now JB gonna be alone.
He gonna be in
I do have a special one at the end, though, really.
Oh, you want to go first? Because you're a little bit longer, man. To be sure.
I can't. If you don't mind.
No.
Well, can I do a quick service announcement before you do that? Big shout out to Chicago News Weekly. We are in the Chicago News Weekly studio right now, and we couldn't feel more at home. And they have been so generous and so kind to us. And this is your premier place to go if you're looking for some urban news, you're looking for what's good in the hood, you're looking for what's happening in your community. Definitely want to check out Chicago News Weekly. In this edition is Andrea Hill, who actually is a big dog with Hooters. Hooters, the corporation Hooters. And you can read how she went from a Hooters girl to a big wig in the corporation. But big shout out to Chicago Newsweek. All right, go ahead, Debbie.
So as always, T-Nick, shout out to you. My man Crazy Ace, shout out to you. Brother from another Kirk. Foul C, Kirk Commissioner back. So I always got to shout out my team first and foremost. Frank Tech, I know he wasn't able to be here in the background. Shout out to Frank Tech. Shout out to Laurence Holmes, man. Like, be it shop, Chicago, blues, bands, Black House, soccer. The man is in tune. Validating a lot of things that we were thinking. Gave us some insight on some things that we may have been pondering on. Love that guy. Shout out to him. House of L. Check it out. We do. Can't wait to have that brother back. Now getting to the chat. Shout out to Lee Ainsworth. Came in early and often. Obviously, our super producer, Kirk Commish. Melissa Shute checked in. My man Jay Grizz was all over. Jay Grizz, he on the East Coast, but he's Chi-Town bred, came in early and often and kept the party going. We appreciate that. We also appreciate Jennifer Acevedo. I think that's somebody that's
This is Crazy Ace right there.
This is crazy. Come on with it. This is crazy, you know what I'm saying? Milan Smasher. Oh, Melon. Melon Smasher. Thank you, I'm thinking that's 2 separate names. You know. Jeanette Johnson, one of our P1s, was checking in. We appreciate that. My brother from another Bullets on that West Coast giving that Kelly love. F. LeBron. Thank you for chiming in. Logan. Logan checked in. And Leah. Thank you for Logan and Leah for chiming in. TTL Runaway. TTL Runaway, thank you for chiming in. We appreciate the love.
Ran away from TTL.
Well, you know, that's the same people said we was talking about. And that's a whole book coming out about what we was talking about.
Yes, sir.
Come on, man. Who don't know shit? Fake news over there. Shout out to Franco Dowd. And we had a lot of repeats. Easy checked in. I don't know if Easy getting ready or what. You never know what he's doing.
Easy broke my heart. He said he missed Frank on here. I was like, man.
Look, I'm just glad Easy responded because like, I never know that guy's doing. Like, what is he doing? You never know what he's doing. But I wanted to give, before I give my normal shout out to the one person that is definitely watching the show, I want to give a shout out to your nephew, my son Jordan Moe. Sure. Salutatorian of his
Wow!
11 days with 10 trophies.
Okay, all right.
Miss Salutatorian because he got an 89.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
I mean, sorry, Miss Valedictorian because he got an 89.
Yeah.
He was salutatorian.
Yes, sir.
So shout out to my baby boy.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Jay.
Going to Gwendolyn Brooks, got to that good school.
Okay.
You know, so just wanted to, take this time to proud papa moment.
Yes.
Shout out to my son Jordan Bowles.
That's what's up.
Love that boy. And then SB, any of the family, and you already know if we got one person watching.
Yes, we do.
It's the podcast, Mom. Most affectionately known as Miss Sandra Bynum. Lady.
Yes, sir. Well, I guess I'm up because we know T-Nick. We wanted to put the violin on him. Well, man, he might be a little quick.
You ain't gonna
We did half of it.
Yeah, yeah, do half of it, didn't he? First of all, I want to give a shout out to my brothers, T-Nick, Statman, JB. Shout out to my man, Crazy Ace. I appreciate everything that you do, my brother, for this country.
So glad you're here.
We appreciate that you are here with us, man, and continue to do what it is that you do. Shout out to your son for graduating as well. I want to send a shout out to him. Shout out to our boy, Laurence Holmes. Check him out at the House of L, and also check him out on 670 The Score from 2 to 6, baby. Check our boy Laurence Holmes out. Great show with him. Shout out to the super producer in the back, the Crooked Commish. Shout out to our boy Frank the Tank that couldn't be here. Shout out to Easy too, even though he's in Vegas somewhere chilling it up. I also want to give a shout out to my family. I want to give a shout out to the kiddies. That is about late, so they should be at home. One of them's on punishment. Yes, she is. All right. Shout out to my beautiful, gorgeous wife now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jelana.
This is Edgerton.
Shout out to her.
I know.
Shout out to Rick.
I'm coming home, baby, soon. Oh, and also shout out to the pretty boy, the baby boy, the one that's gonna carry on my name, pretty baby Ricky. Shout out to you, shout out to my 2 daughters in Alabama, me and Taylor. And outside of that, I don't think I got anybody else to shout out. Shout out to Chicago, baby. One love. Summertime.
Summertime shy is coming.
Different.
We're feeling the weather. So I'm gonna try to keep my shout outs kind of short. I'm gonna try to. But the biggest shout out is for Laurence Holmes, man. For him to take the time that he did and say that he only had a few minutes, but yet here we are, 2 minutes and 17 minutes into the podcast. He had a lot of time. Evidently, he had a lot to talk about, and we were here for it. So we definitely appreciate Lawrence and the time that he gave us. My second shout out, my guys, the Stab Man, Foulmouth C, and my dude Crazy Ace, man. Everything that you do for us, man, this country and this podcast, we appreciate you, man.
I try my every time.
And we cannot forget the rest of the team that actually makes this thing possible. Lola.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to the bunny.
She is our new talent coordinator. She's also going to have a show. It's called dang, it skips my mind right now. Fork Yeah. That's what it is. That's clever, right? That's clever. But yeah, she's gonna have that. And she also makes sure that the guests are well accommodated. Like she has the sandwiches in there now waiting for us. So big shout out to her. Big shout out to Mr. Chicago. We don't say too much about our team, but yeah, those dudes are pretty dope. Everybody on this team is pretty dope. And I'm pretty happy about it. I know they're happy about it too. So I also do want to shout out my guys at Moore's Beer. I know I wasn't going to talk much about Moore's Beer, but I do want to shout them out because they're always accommodating whenever I come, or they said that whenever anyone from my team comes over there, they will accommodate them too. So I do want to shout them out and say thanks, fellas. I appreciate it. My doggy was diagnosed with liver disease yesterday. And
fur babies.
You know, I mean, I know she's not listening or watching, but I definitely had her on my mind today. And I want to shout her out, man. That's one of my best friends. And I hope she pulls through this, man. So with that, I am T-Nick, quarterback, point guard, whatever you want to call me. That's my man, Foulmouth C, representing Zach Levine.
That's right, Team Light Skin, baby. We all we got, baby. Team Light Skin. He ain't here no more, but we all we got.
Over there in the Bears hat, stat man who knows every single stat from every single team.
Also Team Light Skin.
Also Team Light
Skin.
My man JB and my man who protects the country.
Also
Team Light Skin.
I'm the only one here, Team Dark Skin, I guess. But you know what? Dark Skin is in right now. So I'm good. I feel good about that. So with all that being said, guess what, guys? We are out.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production. Bye bye.
Right?
Peace.
You're still here. It's over.